everybody. Welcome to Open for Discussion on SolidStateRadio.net. I am your host, Adam the Goat Boy Luthi, and not in studio with me, more of like a at-home venture. This is our first time doing this. We're switching it up a little bit, so you get to kind of see a little intro into our own personal lives.
Which involves beer at home.
Beer at home. Hey, safety. So
I'm not driving anywhere.
no. So, we're going to be doing this at home. It's going to be a little bit of a different thing. It's going to be kind of fun. We're throwing it out there. But, yeah. So I hope you guys watched or at least listened to the Best of show. It was a lot of fun. It kind of got screwed up a little bit. But, we still got some of the major bits out there. It's kind of interesting. It was nice to take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a reprieve. And it's cool to piece together something. We've been doing this for the show is almost a year old at this point. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, right? So it's interesting to be like, we have enough content to go, this is the best of the best.
So far.
But yeah, I'm your host, Adam the Goat Boy Luthi, and with me on camera, not in person, my co-hosts Rose.
Hello.
And Gator Grant.
Hi.
Hey. Before we took our little hiatus, we started asking questions, and so we really only had the one question. Life's been kind of strange, so we haven't gotten into asking other questions. We'll resume that next week. I promise. I'll get on top of it. But before we took that break, we asked the question of, would you rather have your pet's lifespan doubled or your pet's IQ quadrupled? Okay, and I want to reiterate that it's your pet's IQ, not your IQ. Okay, so it'd be nice to be wicked smart, but we're talking about your pet being wicked smart. So we asked that question. It kind of became, most of the people agreed with, they wanted their pet's lives doubled, right?
Yeah.
That seemed to be the major thing. A lot of people were like, if the pet's IQ was quadrupled, I don't need it smarter than me,
Right. I think most people's pets are already borderline there anyway.
Cats, they really rule us all. It's true.
Okay, never know.
Yeah. So I'm going to toss back the question to you guys. And there's one caveat to this, because people brought up we don't want our pet's lifespan to be doubled if, say a dog lives to be 20 years, but those last 3 years are not exactly the greatest. So, you add another 20 years on that of just, that's not good, right? We don't want dogs that are in pain or cats that are in pain or whatever, that are having a real struggle at the end of their lives. So we'll say that it's, good life, longer life where they're healthy.
Quality.
Yeah, it's quality. You're not, you don't have the dog that's blind that's running into the wall. And I had my dog lived to be 18, and
crap.
he started seeing shadows, and he'd start barking because he couldn't see anything.
That's fair.
I don't think I've ever had a dog live over 5.
Yeah, I had a dachshund. He lived to be 18 years old.
I don't know. He's around here somewhere. He's about 8, I think. 8 or 9 years old. And I mean, that's a great question. Don't get me wrong. Do you want your dog or your pet to live 4 times as long as they're supposed to?
2
or
times.
Do you want 2 times?
Yes.
Okay, so it was double the lifespan or quadruple the intelligence?
Yes.
Oh, crap, dude. So
think about it. Your dog could go get you beer.
The dog, no, I mean, if he's quadruple his intelligence, he's a border collie. The dang thing knows how to do anything right now. I can teach him to do that as it is.
If they're that smart, can they talk too?
That's a good question.
I would think so.
Because that would be a game changer.
Imagine you come home and your border collie is sitting there with the leg over the other leg, reading the newspaper. I see that you're home now, Gator.
Right. Yeah. My luck, my
Yeah.
dog would take up reading.
You're a whole hour late. Why are you late? What are you doing?
No. I want the double lifespan. I do not want that dog that smart. Dogs see things that no one else should ever know about.
It's very true.
Yes.
And now you have another mouth you have to try to convince to stay shut.
Now, if your dog is like exceptionally dumb, though, if you quadruple dumb, it's still not quite like it might be as like say you quadruple a Chihuahua's intelligence, right?
Okay.
It's probably gonna end up being about as smart as a lab, maybe.
I mean, that's possible. I'm still taking double lifespan, though. Totally taking
Yeah.
double lifespan.
Oh, for sure.
Well, because like pets, they ultimately become part of the family, so it'd be nice to have them around for that long. Because a lot of times, pets end up being like people's kids. So
Right.
I think that extra time would be awesome. I mean, the intelligence thing would be cool, and I mean, if my dog could talk, I would like it for a little bit, but then after that, I'd be like, it'd just be like another kid. Just like, no, you cannot have another snack.
Right.
Go
that's
to bed.
like, how often are you going to hear, hey, I'm hungry.
I want to go
Wait,
for a
I
walk.
can get the food. We're fine.
I understand what you do now. I can understand what you're doing. I want to go for a walk. You're going somewhere? I want to walk. Walk.
Ooh, you have the keys. The keys mean you're going somewhere. Let's go.
Right.
Go. Yeah.
Like, the last thing I need is a dog coming out of the bathroom, shutting the door and looking over me at the couch and just be like, hey, fat ass, get your ass up. We got to go do stuff today.
The dog's like, I've learned to use the toilet now, but I still need you to wipe my ass.
Right.
I don't have thumbs.
Right.
I can't figure that part out, but I want my butt clean too. So come on.
Yeah. Come here. Help me out.
If it's Gator's
I-
house, you can have the bidet that he wants.
Yeah. When I was stupid, I would lick and clean myself, but I'm not stupid anymore.
I'm not doing that. That's gross. By the way, we need to talk about the dog food.
Right. Yeah. I don't think you understand what you're feeding me, but it's not that great.
No.
I could get sick.
Yeah.
You know
I
the
slept right
ingredients?
here on your floor because I'm a dog and I can do that.
Right. No, it's definitely not the greatest. So
I would definitely go lifespan.
yeah, I can definitely understand the lifespan thing. I'm gonna go lifespan too. I mean, like if my dog lived another 20 years, that would have been super awesome. I would have really liked that. I love my dog. Yeah. So it's. I mean, I don't have a pet now, so it's all kind of hypothetical or back in the day. But it'd be. I can see that. You love your pet. A lot of times people love their pet like their children. Some people love their pets more than their children. So you can see that. You can see how people would be motivated that way. I do think the intelligence thing is kind of an interesting caveat.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it lets your mind wander into if a dog was smart, what realm would it take over? Like, they're faster.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're more aggressive with sharp teeth that can bite things,
Mm-hmm.
and they can jump higher.
Oh yes.
So, and they can work in packs like really friggin' well. So if a dog gets that smart, like, is it like Rise of the Apes? Are we talking like Dog Empire?
It's a possibility. They don't have the opposable thumbs or the fingers, though. But I mean, nonetheless, even if you brought that forward and like that's the case, right? I
Yeah.
mean, the reason why dogs' pack mentality works so well is because it's the intelligence level. The reason people don't get along is because we're smart enough to realize differences and so on and so forth. That gets away.
Oh, something sounds terrible. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the guy that says that.
Yeah, I was thinking it, so it's all good.
Right.
All right.
Like everybody that's gonna watch this, which might be like a whole 4 people, they're gonna look at it and just be like, "Wow, I know they tried real hard, and I appreciate the effort." Like, it's gonna be one of those like when you ask your mom or dad, "Did you do a good job?" and they just give you like a solid thumbs up.
Was it the best that you could do? Yes. Okay. Good.
It's like,
Did you
like
try
when
your
you're-
hardest?
when you're in Little League or whatever, and you completely whiff on it, and your dad's just like, "Yeah, and you're like, all right, I feel good. And then he goes,
Yeah. He just goes and sits down and he's just like, keep your eye on the ball.
yeah,
I need another beer.
Right.
go do that. You're much better at that. Um, so okay, all right. That was kind of the only question going forward. We had a lot of response, and because we never really got to answer that question or put it in play, I wanted to do that now.
That's fair.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So, but the rest of the show is going to be based on all the advice stuff, right? I've got a couple real controversial in my a-holes, this is even more fun for me than what it would be if we were in the studio. Simply because normally I tease the video before we make the video, and so you guys have an idea of what's coming. This time, you don't.
I have no
Surprise!
Yeah, this is I can pretty much guarantee foot in mouth at least once.
Hey, we all
Maybe
do it.
twice.
Yeah, maybe twice, maybe three
Maybe
times.
thrice.
You know.
Ah. All right, so
3 or 4 times.
Oh, finger jokes.
Yeah, I have my own screen. All right, I can do whatever the hell I want around here.
Hey, that's true. I'm not telling you anything. I might do the helicopter later, and then we're really gonna be in Facebook jail.
Well, I mean,
That can be the bonus content behind
Yeah.
the scenes.
yeah, that's on Friends Only.
It's gonna be on my OnlyFans.
That's it.
Yeah. So, all right, let's all pretend. Let's pretend we're back in school again, okay? You know, we're back in high school. We'll go with
Oh.
that.
Okay.
All right, I can relate.
So, yeah, right. So we're gonna pretend this for this scenario because it's kind of an interesting scenario that we really didn't have when we were growing up, right? It's technology based,
Okay.
right?
What
So
scenario? Oh, this.
Oh, geez.
Like right now?
yes,
Yeah,
like this. Right
like-
now.
Okay.
Anyway, this guy says he has no friends, and basically they took away his ability to use his phone during lunch. So he
Okay.
would sit by himself at lunch or at white or whatever, and just kind of like read through things or text people, video. I don't know, whatever kids do, right? And
Snaps
just
or,
away. So he's kind of got a gripe here. He says that he goes to a very strict private school, and they decided that they would ban phones at lunch to promote face-to-face conversation, to actually have people communicate with each other while they're there, right? As opposed to being up in the corner on the phones. The guy, he's annoyed with it because everybody kind of treats him bad. I mean, he's borderline bullied most of the time. And he gets upset because he can't, he has friends that he has online that he can't talk to. So he can't eat alone facing a wall or whatever. Now he has to just kind of sit there, and he can't really protest because, his parents are cool what the school are doing. It's literally this guy has to eat lunch what we used to eat lunch. Like, come on, this is my problem here. Like, this guy can't use his phone at lunch anymore. He just has to eat and interact with other people. He thinks it's really unfair and that it's very wrong. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Like, do you think the school's kind of in the right here to promote like face-to-face conversation?
Well, back in my day, you couldn't
Back
even
in my
have your
day.
phone out. I mean, it's just part of those things. Like, yeah, you have to learn how to interact with people because you're going to be doing that for your future job one day too. So you kind of have to learn how to, put yourself out there and be with other people.
Well, okay. Let me ask you guys this: do you think the school's in the wrong for banning phones during lunchtime?
No,
That's the first question. No,
that's fine.
I
I mean,
don't.
they can.
It really kind of raises the question of, with technology becoming more prevalent in our society, and especially being accessed at younger and younger ages, right? I mean, I'm sure your kids can tear apart a phone better than what I could ever do, just because,
They can tear apart a lot of stuff better than I can.
right.
It's just I
So
can put it back together.
yeah. But I mean, they could use the technology in a more proficient manner than what I could, for sure. I guarantee.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, at like 4 years old, my kid was signing on to Netflix and watching stuff from my mom's phone, who didn't even know she had Netflix.
Yeah.
It changes things, but because of the technology and the prevalence that it has in society now, you see this a lot, right? When you go to you go to a restaurant, you go out to eat with a bunch of friends. How many times have you seen it where you look around the table and there's no talking going on, but everybody's just sitting there, with their phones going,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah, they're texting, whatever. And
Like, let's
they're
turn our
texting.
phones off and actually communicate and actually enjoy the moment and be with each other.
So
You can be on your
my,
phone at home.
exactly. And so my argument is like, yeah, I get this guy. His friends are mostly online friends, right? That's where he has his connections based. But
Mhm.
if you don't learn to have those interactions in public, and I get it, like even if you don't get along with the people that you're there with, these are building blocks in life, right?
Right.
I'm kind of for the school in this because I think that you need to learn how to interact with people regardless, because you're gonna have to eventually someday.
Exactly. And I mean, probably the friends that he's talking to online are probably in school too.
Yeah,
So they
probably.
should also be doing
No.
that as well.
They're 45-year-old men in the basement at their mom's house.
Oh, that could be it too. I could
True,
definitely
could
be it
be.
too.
Yeah,
Scary
in that
stuff.
case, thumbs up, school. Way to
Right?
make
Yeah.
phones at lunch.
It's just one of those things where like I get it. It's odd that a school is mandating people to try to make friends and go through that, but these are the building blocks of life. These are the moments where kids are developing, or teenagers are developing, whatever the case, however you want to look at it. Young adults. You need to have those experiences to be like a full-fledged adult,
Well, and
really.
that's why you're in school. You're in school to prepare yourself for your future. And that's part of preparing yourself for the future.
So much of it is social skills learning as opposed to just the content and the material.
Right? I mean, I don't have anything that I, learned from calculus or chemistry or, anatomy. Well, I do use anatomy and physiology. But I mean, other than that, you don't use hardly any of that stuff that you learned in high school. Or I love
I
that
mean,
meme where it's like, oh, you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket for the rest of your life. Well, guess what? I do.
yeah.
It's even a scientific one when I turn it sideways.
I mean, I'm not trying to say that the education isn't important or whatever. Like, 'cause I think there are things you learn that is important. I think it's good to be a well-rounded person. But part of the being a well-rounded person comes from that social aspect. And so you should be able to at lunchtime go find somebody that you can click with. I mean, I don't care who you are. There's always somebody that you can connect with. I've never walked into a room and been like, you know what? There's nobody here that I could talk to. Not a single God blessed person.
Right? Like, oh, there's somebody else alone by themselves. So you know what? Let's talk. Because I'm alone too.
Yeah.
Maybe you find something in common with somebody else. Or like, hey, look, that person's got a really cool band shirt on. I like that band too. Hey,
Yeah,
I've
that's
done that before.
the banner. Right? You throw out the banner and you're like, hey, and they're like, I know that. Let's go hang out with that guy. That's just
Right?
kind of how it is. But it's not just like I think they probably wear uniforms in their school, but still, it's
Like your uniform, I have the same one.
yeah, it's a killer uniform. I like the buttons you put on it.
Ooh,
Did
It
you
looks
get
they're like
yours
extra
brand newer
shiny.
from? Did you get yours brand newer from the used lot like my parents did?
yeah. Mine. They're hoping that I grow into it someday.
Right. They bought this for the next 3 years.
Right?
Yeah. So right
I
now,
lost a bunch of weight.
yeah, I worked on a new diet. It's amazing.
Yeah, my mom said
yeah.
I'm not allowed to have ketchup and mustard on my hot dog while I'm at school.
Yeah, can't clean it, can't get it out. Anyway, I know it's a little bit different than like some of the subjects we normally go through, but it's because of the technology in society. I like that. I find it refreshing just because
Yeah.
I like the idea that people are being forced to, I don't know, communicate like the way we did when we were younger, and that our parents did, and everybody else before us. I'm really afraid of a generation where people don't know how to talk to each other.
And that's a very real possibility because it seems more and more that we might be going towards something like that.
I feel it with our generation a lot of times, and we've experienced it. I feel like just because of Facebook and all the other things that you have as social media sites, whether it's Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, you're losing out on those moments that you spend with that person, in person, living in them. It's so funny because a lot of the people that have to live, laugh, love, and live in the moment for whatever reason, and they have that. They're the same people with the Snapchat story that disappears after 24 hours. They're living through a lens. And
Sorry, I was making sure my wife didn't have a live, laugh, love sign up somewhere.
Does she?
No.
woo, all right, safe. I didn't upset anybody.
I just wanted to make sure. I was a little nervous for a moment, to be honest.
He's like, oh,
I don't think she would have, but oh crap.
Okay, all right.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Let's-
Well, I mean, like, okay, she can be kind of artsy fartsy, but she's definitely not like white girl wasted shabby chic. Let's put it that way.
No, but she is very much like a live in the moment kind of person, and she's not like one of those people that live online and stuff like that.
No, not too often. Like when she posts things on like Facebook or anything like that, like I like to go look at it because it doesn't happen very often. And it's like,
Right.
oh, I bet you this is pretty good.
Yeah, what did Sarah and the kids do today? Oh, awesome! Adventures in the Big Blue House. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the argument. Like that's a great thing, right? Like you go to a concert and you take those photos, you post it online, and the hope is that that's there forever and it shows up, right? That's why I don't understand the story aspects of things. I'm going to post something up, and then everybody's going to look and go, "Oh, that's what they're doing for the day," and then it's gone forever.
Right.
No, if you're going to take pictures, if you're going to document something because you find it that cool or that important in the moment, don't you want to remember it?
Yeah, like I love it when those memories come up and it's like, oh, 2 years ago today. Oh, awesome. I remember that. I forgot about that.
Right.
I feel like the beginning, like the downfall of this, and the beginning of like everything going to crap with stories and posting and all that stuff, it started with people taking pictures of their food. Like that's the earliest I can remember is people were like, look at what I'm eating today. Snap. And it was like, okay, I don't care.
Sometimes it's impressive though. Like I would have loved to see pictures of that beef Wellington that you made.
I didn't make a beef well. It was venison.
Or a venison Wellington.
It
Still.
was so good.
Well, maybe if there was a picture of it, I would have remembered it was venison.
No, the people that had it remember it.
That's fair, right? Okay, I'll say this: if you cook something and it's like really good, you did something over the top, and you want to document that, okay, that's fine. If you go to a fancy restaurant that you're never gonna, like, say you're in France, right? Okay, I can see you taking pictures of that food. That's cool. But like, dude, if you're at the local Taco Bell, I don't need to see your chalupa. That doesn't impress me. I eat that every day.
Look, the stoner in the back did such a good job.
Now, maybe if you ordered like 20 items from Taco Bell and you're like, look at all the food I'm about to eat, and then you could do that, and then all the empty wrappers, I still ate all of that because
I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna videotape me eating it all, and then I'm gonna sell it to weird people online. That's a thing.
Is that really a thing? I can make some money off of that.
You can make money off of that. You would actually probably make a lot of money off of that. But nonetheless,
watch me eat tacos.
Yeah,
and a lot of them.
If you make noises while you do it, you're like, it's a whole category on adult websites. I'm not joking.
People eating?
What?
Just
watching people eat?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
don't
it's a real
anything
thing.
off or anything?
Leave this world behind.
Yeah, it's a sad, sad life, isn't it? So, okay. With that in mind, are we
No, we still got like 5 minutes, bro.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
We'll just go ahead and skip right along then.
Yeah,
good.
We have so the next thing is it has to do with online dating, which is another fun thing. And this is great. Like, I love to bring this stuff up because, like, I can look at Gator's face. He's like, I know nothing about this. I got nothing.
I get
And then I'm like,
Rich Judgerton. It's wonderful. And then you guys are like, no, it's not like that. I look at you and go, I don't care.
you're like married. Like,
Right.
suck it.
No, I'm doing fine. It's okay.
Yeah. So this guy has like it's the weirdest scenario that I could ever really imagine. I don't understand this. Okay. Let me read you the title. Ex-girlfriend. Huh?
I was being ready audibly.
All right. Yeah. This is different. I'm used to the headphones, so whenever I get interrupted, I'm like, I can hear what they're saying. But when I'm in the spiel now, it's like, okay, I just missed whatever that was.
Yeah, happens.
So the ex-girlfriend and I matched on Tinder, and now she's ghosting me.
Ooh.
That's,
Gator, do you know what that means?
do you know what it means to be ghosted?
I mean, I think.
It's someone just up and disappears out of your life like a ghost. You know, they talk to you, and they just stop talking. There's no contact. You try to reach out to them. It's like they never existed.
Blocked.
Yeah, well, I mean, they could block you as well, or just not respond. It's a fun thing.
From what I hear.
Sounds like you don't need that person in your life anymore.
Right. Well, it's also weird because why are you and an ex matching on Tinder? I digress, though.
Right. Obviously not a match.
Right. So my ex recently broke up with me because she said she wasn't in a good place and decided she didn't want to be in a relationship right now, but she genuinely seemed like she wanted to keep in touch and even mentioned the possibility of getting back together in the future after her personal problems, which I obviously won't talk about, have been dealt with. So anyway, we matched on Tinder. I assume / hope we both went on after the relationship ended, and since then she has just been ghosting me, which really isn't like her. This hurts more than the breakup itself, but should I just leave her to herself or do something? So on a side note, they said that they've been together for like 7 to 8 months, and they both like each other quite a bit. Not really, bud. She left. Who wants the first crack at this? Gator's just shaking his head. He doesn't get it. He's upset.
How hard is this?
Right? No.
Just no.
You had issues for a reason. No.
Well, okay, so she had issues or whatever, wanted to be alone, took the break. And I'm not trying to I'm not trying to say that that's a problem or whatever. Like, I get that. People realize different things. That's fine. Why are you matching on Tinder? Okay, to match on Tinder, that means he has to like her and she has to like him back.
So like so they both had to be like swipe left or swipe right or whatever it is.
They have to swipe right, yes.
Oh, so why would you swipe right on your ex?
I don't get it. That's the thing I don't understand is why did he swipe right on her when they're in this weird break situation? Mm-hmm. And why did she swipe right on him when you broke it off? What is wrong with you?
Right.
You go ahead.
It takes two people. It's not like, okay, he just swiped right and then she was like, no, I'm still not ready. They both did.
And the weirdest thing is, like, if a girl tells me that you're on a break because she can't handle being in a relationship right now, and then you go on Tinder and you find her, I kind of go, well, wait a second. I've just been lied to, I think.
Take that a little personally.
I don't think that this was a real break. I think that she just wasn't interested. And that's how he should have taken it. I don't get the whole, and then he's confused about being ghosted. Dude, what did you think was going to happen?
Right. I'm not surprised. I don't know why he's surprised.
I don't, what, should I do something? What are you going to do, bud?
Yeah, swipe right on somebody else.
Hey, go out there with the boombox and, play that song or whatever. Is that what you're going to, like, that's it. That's all I got for you if you're going to do something. Personally, if I think you go do something, you go do somebody else. And not, whatever. You spend time with someone else. Get to know someone else. Try to start a relationship with somebody who is ready for it. Like, this is just a bad situation, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I don't think it works all the way around.
No, it's just bad all the way around. So, no, you just need to find somebody else.
Right, and you're already on the app, so you're already looking too. I mean,
Right.
like I get the serendipitous thing where you're like, oh my God, there she is. Oh my God, we matched. Baby, this is what's gonna bridge the gap. No, you still have her phone number. If she wanted to be with you, she would reach out, or you could reach out and say something. Then when you get no response and a ghost, dude, definitive answer.
Right. Boom. No.
Done.
Right. It's not
Yeah,
just a break at that point. We're done.
I can understand why it hurts more than the breakup to a certain extent, but you did it to yourself, bud.
You open that door.
You can't, put the box back on Pandora once it's open. You can't put the lid back on that box. It's done. It's gone. The
Right.
monster stuff
Everything
out.
already came out.
Yeah.
So
Close.
you swipe.
Yes. Welcome back to the conversation, Peter.
If you like somebody,
Uh-huh.
you swipe one direction,
Yes.
and then if you don't like them, you swipe in the other direction.
Absolutely.
Left.
And then for a match, you both have to swipe the same direction
Yes.
on each other.
Yes.
Is there a time frame that it has to happen in?
I'm not positive on that. I do think it goes away because my count's been going down slowly of people that have swiped right on me. They show up blurry pictures, right? So if somebody swipes right on you, unless you paid their premium, you just get a blurry picture. You can figure out the blur, John.
Is it like
and then
blurry like HBO in the 90s on cable?
Yeah, kind of. It's like $19 a month or something.
So it's like if you squint like real hard, you can figure it out.
There's a nipple.
I mean, I don't. It's on my phone, and we're doing this through my phone. Otherwise, I'd show you. But like, legitimately, like, you know how they do like if they're trying to hide something, or like, like the overweight stories and stuff that they do on the news. Like a lot of times they just show the people's feet, but every now and then they show the people from behind, and they're all blurred out.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm familiar with blurry faces. Like, I get that.
Yeah, no, they just blur the whole photograph, but you can still tell from like the backgrounds and all that other stuff who it is generally. And you go, ooh, no, thank you. And you swipe left.
Context clues.
Ah, yes.
Oh.
Now
You
I
can
get
figure it out. You can figure it out. The weird one is that people have their own preferences, so you can set up ages. So like for me, I have it set up between the ages of 26 and 37. I went 5 years both directions. I figured that's a fair, and so, but every now and then there'll be a like, right? And it won't be, it's either the distance is off or the age is off. So like if a 23-year-old likes me, I'll never see her because she's not in my preference.
26 to 37.
Oh, one of them's off. I went up higher because, I
Why
prefer
not?
that range.
You like the older ladies. Arr.
I would like to try something different. Can we just put it that way? Like, I'd like to be with somebody a little more mature, as opposed to me anyway.
Hi, I'm the goat boy, and I like seasoned veterans.
Seasoned veteran.
I want you to teach me a thing or two.
Right.
Exactly.
So, are
That'd be
you
nice.
looking for a year-to-year contract or a long-term deal?
Dude, it's so weird. The whole thing it's an odd thing in itself. Let me tell you, there's a lot of people out there that are like, my favorite one is some profile of some girl who lives 8 miles down the road. She's like, that picture is of me and my fiance, and he knows that I'm on here. And you're like, oh, he's a cuck.
I was like, something doesn't add up here.
No, that's like they're looking for the threesomes and stuff like that. There's a lot of that. There's also a couple of escorts. They're like, I'm an escort girl. Call this number. I'm like, no, that's probably the police. Yeah,
Not a good
But-
idea.
weird thing. But let's put it this way, guys. At the end of the day, this guy did this to himself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a moron. Just go ahead and move on, dude, because she's ready to move on. There's plenty of other people out there. You're young. It'll work out. Trust me. With that in mind, we're going to do a weird thing where we're going to take a break for the radio show. But on the video, you're just going to see us kind of go, and then back. So here we go. Just in case that the radio show gets its sponsors, so we can continue doing this and money gets poured in because eventually we'll be back. We're going to take a break and then we're going to come back with more after this. You're listening to Open for Discussion on SolidStateRadio.net. Hey everybody, welcome back to Open for Discussion on SolidStateRadio.net. I am your host, Ed of the Goat Boy Luthia. With me are my co-hosts Gator Grant and Rose.
Hi.
So it was a real fun break. We talked
Man, it went by so fast.
so
We
quick.
had so many good conversations. You guys
Yeah.
don't even know.
So,
Sean's
They're
gonna
just-
hate this.
oh, absolutely. He is absolutely gonna hate this, but that's that's on Sean. Sorry.
Bummer, bud.
Yeah, we're trying.
We love you.
It's an open-ended question I've got here. It's very short, sweet, to the point, but it's open-ended, and I want you guys to kind of reiterate on this. And it's, at what age is it too late to reinvent yourself?
Is it ever?
I don't feel like there's a limit on reinventions.
The limit doesn't exist.
Like 80's the new 40 at this point.
Because that's Betty White.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a lot more
He's
saggy
doing
and
great.
wrinkly.
Well, I mean, if you can pay for it, then you don't have to be saggy and wrinkly.
True, but it still doesn't look right. I mean, let's be honest. I'm sure Dolly Parton looks real strange with her shirt off.
I bet she looks amazing.
She
I
might.
bet you
She might
does.
look awesome.
Right?
I feel bad saying that because she's like America's sweetheart. I really
One of the greatest people ever.
Mhm.
I bet
absolutely.
you she looks
Absolutely.
incredible.
Right?
She still has giant knockers though, so that's why I'm bringing that up.
But you know what? They're up there, though. I bet you they are so far up there.
It's amazing what money will do for you.
Exactly.
Oh, dude, I bet she doesn't even pay for it anymore. Plastic surgeon's just like, can I tell people I did it?
Yeah, no kidding, right? You know whose tits I worked on? Dolly Parton's.
Those are mine.
Nice work there, bud. Big fan of your work.
I did that.
So the reinventing yourself thing, I don't think I agree with both of you. I don't think that there really is an age that you stop reinventing yourself.
Mhm.
Like, if you want to, you can at any point in time. I don't think that really you have to have a cap on that. I do think that reinventing yourself is a weird way, depending on how you define it. I think it's a weird thing.
Mhm.
Like, you can't just go to work one day and come back as a whole new person,
No,
I
you
don't
can't.
think that, I don't think that works. I think that, like, the idea of reinventing yourself, it just depends on what you mean by that. If you're talking about bettering yourself, it's different, because that's a slow process of working on your flaws.
Right.
I think it
What are
goes-
your guys' thought on that?
I mean, I get what you guys are saying, where it's, obviously somebody that wants to change a massive part of their life or the lifestyle or, routines that they already have set up with who they are.
Yes.
It's a time thing. Like, it takes time to change those to see the benefit in your personal life. That
Absolutely.
kind of stuff. But as far as reinventing and like coming in the next day and being perfectly fine, and just new, I think that's a real thing. I mean, I think there's a lot of times, especially, there's plenty of people out there that have really good willpower, like strong willpower, to make a decision and stick with it and just be like, no, this is what I do now.
Boom.
I think it's doable, but is it really hard and special? Yeah.
I mean,
it can happen overnight. It's just, I think the majority of the time, the ones you see that happen overnight are more like flashes in the pan that just kind of like, oh, it worked out for about 3 days.
Right.
You didn't drink a Mountain Dew for 3 days. Good for you.
Absolutely. I think you're very right on that. it is something that can be very, very difficult. I think that it's tough when people start tossing around the term of reinventing yourself, though, because
Mhm.
you become established as a person at some point in time, right? I mean,
Right.
Gator, you are
Yeah.
who you are at this point. I'm not saying you don't have the ability to change,
But the
but
core foundation is there.
right?
The core
And
memories have been logged.
yes,
Right.
You don't delete core memories, go.
It's a good movie.
that's
Such
kind
a
of
good movie.
that's kind of where we're at. Is that at a certain age, you're kind of who you are. You're set up in yourself or whatever. So I think it becomes very difficult to quote unquote reinvent yourself. To become a different person entirely. I think that you really need to focus on like the different things. Like to completely reinvent yourself is insane. Uh,
Right.
to find different things to better yourself. Like I just don't like the idea when someone says reinvent. I like the idea of bettering yourself, taking what's already there and expanding upon.
Well, it's kind of like a house, right? I mean, you don't just tear the whole house apart and then rebuild a house. I mean, you can, but realistically, you take the house that you already have and you remodel it, you make it better, you enhance it, you get it to how you want it to be. So, I mean, yeah, that core foundation is still there, but you can get it to how you're happy with it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the thing. So, I mean, yeah, so that's kind of how I like to think of it because I'm kind of going through that, something similar right now where I'm still going to be like my basic person. But it's like, okay, now what do I want going forward to the future? I'm still going to be me. I'm not going to turn into Gator overnight.
But
Well,
you're gonna drink pumpkin spice lattes and stuff and be a basic white girl.
Oh, I'm already that.
right. Grab your coffee creamer and bring it out right now.
I will. I
That's
will
okay.
get my pumpkin spice flavored oat milk out for you right now.
I love the pumpkin spice season. I'm not gonna lie. So it is what it is. I am a basic white girl.
Can we just establish the fact that pumpkin spice is decent,
It
but
is.
it does not come close to apple cider.
No,
Mm-mm.
I'm
They
with
both
Gator.
have their place.
She's over there doing the cue.
Corey, pumpkin spice or apple cider? Apple cider. Corey says apple cider. We win. It's unanimous.
It's not.
It's
Hold
unanimous.
on. Sarah. She probably won't hear me. I think she's on the iPad. That's why I keep going fuzzy.
But there's so many things that you can do with pumpkin spice. Apple cider is just pretty much apple cider. It's got a special place in my heart. Don't get me wrong.
Disagree. You can do so much with apple cider.
Yes.
You can make moonshine. You can make apple pie. You can make fragrances. You can mix it with whiskey, and it's wonderful.
You can do all that with pumpkin pie spice too.
You
I
can
don't
mix
know
it
if I
with.
want-
No, you can make cider with rum, and it tastes fantastic. I did it all last year.
Dude,
Okay, well, if we're being alcoholics over here, then yeah, it's a little bit more diverse.
or apple cider and a like cinnamon jack, and it is so good.
I get
You know
the
what? I don't believe you. You're just gonna have to make me some.
Deal. I'll make it happen.
So I get the hot apple cider for my Keurig, and I pour that in, and it's just so fantastic. It's what I use to like calm down or wind down in the wintertime. I'm just like,
And this is why we're both basic white girls, because we both have Keurigs.
Yeah, I don't have a Keurig. I have wait, right there. That's my bun. Hold on. I can make it happen. And boop.
I don't know what we booped.
Right there. See my
Nothing.
screen? I'm pointing at.
I don't see it. I don't
That's
see
my
any.
bun.
I don't
That's my
see
bun.
anything.
I don't see any buns.
Well, it'll be really weird when we get it on TV or on the Facebook and you guys watch it and you're like, oh, well, that's what he was doing. This is stupid.
It's a great bun. Yay!
Sorry. No,
So-
I have a bun coffee maker. It is awesome.
Believe it full-heartedly. So I think that basically at the end of the day, though, there's no there's no age limit to this.
No.
It's just more of the only limit there is how much one can change themselves and truly be themselves.
Mhm.
And sometimes it might be good to do that full change. I mean, if you really don't like anything about yourself, right?
Mhm.
I can see that. But I don't know. I find it odd to like, this is really where I'm going to be. I think that expanding upon it, being like, okay, I've always wanted to do this, so now I'm going to do this. Or to go, I really need to work on being kinder to other people. And you start, paying out compliments, being like, Gator, I really love your beard.
Hey, thanks, man.
Rose, your glasses are super nice.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you could do stuff like that. Or, like if you need a weight change, whatever.
Hey, Goat, I don't know what the painting is behind you, but it looks really modern.
Mhm.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I have one kind of similar. I like it.
Yeah, I've got another one, but I'm not moving my camera because I'm afraid.
Yeah, it is where it is.
It is where it is.
It is dang right here.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid to take things off, and then Corey's gonna yell at me. So yeah, it was an open-ended question. It was something that I thought would be a little bit different. We could kind of expand on. Let's go ahead and move on to a weird scenario. This is kind of a
Ooh.
longer one.
We like weird.
Oh,
Bring it.
This one's up there, okay? My boyfriend has been distanced since my ex sent him our old sex tapes and a dick pic. Imagine the hatred of that.
Wait. One more time.
All right, one more time. My boyfriend has been distant since my ex sent him our old sex tapes and a dick pic.
That's awkward.
I mean,
It's your face. That's the best portion of this.
like, okay. I get the whole, like, gonna make you jealous with the videos type thing. Being a crummy ex or whatever, being just basically a low life piece of crap. The dick pic.
Yes.
Um,
Well, let's get into it, all right?
yeah, go
Yeah,
further.
let's.
It'll change things.
I'm losing thought on that side of things.
Okay, background. I was with my ex since high school. We were together for 7 years. 16 to 23, was a big alpha male jock who always had to prove that he was the manliest. So basically, think the opposite of me. He was especially proud of his, his member, which
Well,
was,
it sure seems like he was.
well,
Right?
it's a little over 8 inches long. He made me measure it. That's what she said. So anyway, apparently he was really bad at sex and would brag about that sort of thing because he would just do the jackhammer thing, Yeah, that sort of thing. Gator's just all sorts. Her face today has just been a constant one of disappointment.
Like, okay, hang on. Like, I'm gonna sit here and brag because I'm at 8.5.
Yeah. That's it?
I mean, like, you can be proud. Like, good for you, bud. But, like, I don't think that's bragging territory.
I think it is, bud.
Isn't that just like slightly above average?
It's 2 inches above the average,
I mean,
2.5.
Yeah, like 2 inches above, so I mean, good for you. But still, I mean,
Actually, technically, it's 3 inches above the average because the average is 5.5. But
well, I think that depends on if you measure from the top or bottom.
I don't care. I'm not getting into that. Either way, it's larger than most people's. Let's just leave it at that, okay?
Like I said, I think you can be proud, but I think bragging isn't all that great. And then to also hear from like the ex-girlfriend or whatever, where she's like, he wasn't even all that great. It's like, buddy, that's like owning a giant set of Mastercraft tools or whatever, but not knowing how to use a wrench.
No, well, basically, he would do things to where it hurt her, and
Then
because,
he's bad at it.
well, yes, he is, but he doesn't think that because in his mind, she can't recover after sex, so he wins.
She can't
Dumbass.
recover because she has internal bleeding.
Yes, Gator, you're right. He's a dumbass. This is the point of the whole thing.
Right. Like, oh, that was good, wasn't it? Oh, I think you ruptured my spleen. Yeah,
Yes.
that was the point. No. Take me to the hospital.
You ever heard of lube? But anyway,
Oh, jeez.
but wait,
You big boy.
wait, there's more.
Oh, of course there is. Probably another
We're-
2 inches.
No, he would. He grew another 2. It's like Pinocchio. Every time that he was a dick, it just grew larger.
Right.
So we were also in an open, that's quotations, open relationship where it was only open on his end.
Of course, because he has just a freakishly massive deal and the best ever and busting spleens. He's on a rampage.
Yes. So why did I agree to it? I was young and stupid. He'd do things with multiple women and then take pictures and show her. Sounds like a real winner, right? The
Dude
icing
needs
on the
about 2
cake.
inches cut off. That's what he needs.
Huh?
Nothing. He doesn't need to cut anything off.
Yeah. As you can guess, it was a very abusive relationship. The icing on the cake was when I found out he sent our videos to his group chat for some sort of tribute thing. I don't understand. I only found out when his 2 newer friends told me when they saw I was crying in one of the videos. They helped me get out, move states away, and she still keeps in contact with the friends. Okay, so we get to the issue here. After almost 2 years of therapy dealing with the aftermath of the relationship, I was finally over my ex, decided to date again. I was working as a waitress. One night, I found a guy who apparently was stood up by his blind date. Don't know why. He was cute. He talked to me during my breaks and waited for my shift to end. We ended up having burgers after, and we've been together ever since.
Hey.
My boyfriend is the opposite of my ex. Typical introvert like me. He's also significantly smaller than my ex, probably less than 6, but is infinitely better. And my boyfriend can actually, he's doing things right. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to get into the specifics there.
He's not rupturing spleens.
He's not rupturing spleens, and he's getting her to where she needs to be. He's starting the car. You know what I mean?
Yay!
Yeah, it's revving those engines.
Yeah.
So she talked to him about her ex, opened up about the whatever trauma or whatever that caused her. And the dude actually, he cried about it because he's a sensitive dude. That's the point. So we've been together for over a year now. And after her lease expired 2 months ago, she moved in with him. It's been great so far. The move has only made us closer. We've been so happy until about a week ago, he started acting distant. We're usually very affectionate towards one another, but every time I initiated something, sexual or otherwise, he would turn me down. Every time I asked him what was wrong, he would just say, it wasn't me, it was him. He's been really sad lately, so yesterday I decided to actually confront him, and he spilled the beans. Apparently, my ex-boyfriend found out about him and got his Facebook profile. My ex, being the douchebag that he is, sent my boyfriend a couple of videos and a picture of his junk and said, I'm pretty sure what you have can't satisfy her like this one can. So my boyfriend said he felt insecure and emasculated, which I get that, right?
Sure.
He wasn't enough, and it's that weird size thing that guys have going on, right? So he's just his problem was he's insecure about it. He needs to figure it out on his own. I tried telling him how much better he is, but he won't listen to me. He's sleeping on the couch right now. I don't know what I can do. I don't want to lose a good thing because of my stupid ex. And yes, before you suggest, I already plan on contacting a lawyer. That's not the main issue here. Why won't my boyfriend listen to me? Why won't he understand that I'm here with him for a reason? Why doesn't he believe me when I say that he's better? Why won't he listen to me when I say size doesn't matter? All that sort of stuff, right? What can I do to fix this? I miss cuddling and my lovable nerd. I can actually see us getting married in the future. I definitely want to fix this.
Oh.
Yeah, right? What was that, Gator?
That's serious stuff.
It is
Yeah.
serious stuff.
Yeah.
It's very
Mhm.
serious stuff. So, what
I
do you
mean,
do?
well, I think the first thing she needs to recognize anyway is that, you know, after she got out of the relationship with him because he was obviously a piece of work.
He's a
Um,
huge dick.
yeah, he was a huge dick. Yeah. um, you know, but she was out of the relationship for how long did she say? Like a
2
year,
years.
2 years?
2
2 years.
years.
2 years
Yeah.
with therapy to get
Mhm.
over this stuff, right? To work through it, to learn how to cope with it or learn how to live with
Actually,
that information.
from the
Right.
sounds of it, I think it's 4 years now. It was 2 years when she started to date again.
Ah.
Okay.
So
So, you know, 4 years to process, cope, figure all that stuff out with professional help as
yeah,
well, which is great. Good for her. Fantastic. You know, wonderful stuff. Here's the thing, you're hoping for him to hear you about something that took you 4 years to figure out. He has had like a month.
yeah.
Give him time. That like, you know,
Yeah.
he's trying to. He said it honestly, where he's like, I'm just figuring something out. I need my space for the moment.
Mhm.
Well, and let's be honest. I mean, when you talk about things and you hear things and it's an emotional picture or whatever that gets brought up in your head, it's sad. Like it's sad to hear that.
Right.
It's another thing to actually witness it,
Oh
for
yeah,
Mhm.
something to be sent your way and you're completely blindsided by this.
That's gonna
And
take some time to get over.
yeah.
and the other thing is, like, a lot of guys are insecure about the size. And if he was at all insecure about it before, and then somebody shows up with a massive donger, and you're like, oh, I definitely don't compare to that. And like, even though you know all the facts, it still sits there in the back of your head. It feeds on that insecurity, right? It's like if you gained a little bit of weight and someone called you fat.
Right.
Uh,
Especially if you have sensitivity about it anyway.
That's what yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you gain a little bit of weight and you're like, oh, I got a little bit of a pooch, and the girl's like, your body's not that great. You're like, oh, okay. That
and
Right.
you
sort of
know
thing.
your face is a little messed up too.
My face? Oh, well, thanks, bud. I appreciate that.
Well, no, not that. No. Just saying, like, if you've got the nerve to come up to somebody that maybe they have gained a couple pounds or something like that, and you're like, hey, you know, your body's not all that great, you have opened the door to something you probably didn't want to. Like, just saying that odds are good that I'm about to rip you up, whether you know it or not. And I mean, if I'm that dude as well, like, I get that, you know, some guys have kind of a insecurity, you know, a lack of self confidence in a certain area of the male anatomy. You know, I get it. That's something that can hit certain guys pretty hard. Um, that they need to, you know, be able to figure all that stuff out and not feel like, you know, they're not measuring up.
How many are we gonna throw in there, bud? How many are we gonna throw in there?
If
As
I
many
can
as we
think
can
of a
fit
few,
in.
I'm about to say if I can fit in a couple more, you know,
I
just
don't
make
know.
it.
It's already kind of large.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to, you know, thicken up everything. But I get it, but at the same time, like, you have to understand the fact that, yeah, there's other dudes out there that are always going to be able to say, well, you're not this or you're not that or whatever. You're not like me or you're not like that. I don't care. At the end of the day, especially an ex boyfriend, where they're like, well, I bet you can't do what I do. It's like, oh, what is it that you do? Because last I checked, she's at my house,
Right.
not
She's in
yours.
my bed.
Right. She's coming home to this
Mhm.
because that doesn't matter, obviously. Because if it did, she wouldn't be here.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
and so take some confidence in that, knowing that that's what it's all about is she's connecting with you on a different level.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Like this guy's winning all the way around. It's kind of what you said before, right? Where you said that she's had years to deal with. He was put in a situation like right then and there. You know, he didn't get a choice to be in a situation. He was thrown into the situation. Now he has to deal with it. And
Right.
because he has to deal with it, like if he has that insecurity, if he has those thoughts already like built up inside, it's just letting the demons out. It makes it really tough.
Yeah, he's gonna need time to process, time to cope, time to, figure out where his mental status is because of all of this stuff. And there's no question there. And she has to be understanding to the fact that he needs time. Um, it's something that he's gonna have to work through, and he might need to seek some help to work through it.
You gotta. She also talks about him being introverted and so forth, right? And that happened. He's an introvert. This other guy was clearly an alpha. So when you're introverted, you're the type B personality, and that alpha comes in. I mean, it's very hard for it to not completely destroy you at that point in time. I mean, because there is a history there. Their history is longer, while it's tumultuous or whatever. She was with this guy for so long. It is in the back of your head. Now you got this video proof, and I don't care who you are. If you see somebody that you're with somebody else, yeah, it might be the past, but it's my God, that's not an image you want or you ever needed to see. How do you
No.
recover,
That would be tough.
right? Like
Yeah.
we're all acutely aware that the partners that we've had in life may or may not, I guess it depends, may or may not have been with other people. And just laughed. We're all acutely aware of these different things. In my case, especially there's been a trail that you couldn't believe. But you don't think about it. You just put it in the back. You don't care because you're with that person now. But it's different when someone outside that bubble throws it right there in your face.
Yeah.
And not just like coming up to you and telling you, but being like, hey,
Video,
yeah, here's a video of us doing it, and here's this.
right?
I mean, it's a gigantic whammy.
I can't get over the audacity still of him years later sending this stuff.
Well, I mean, this is the idea of the whole alpha thing. When people are set up this way and they find themselves to be better, it's not even like a pining for her or anything. He just literally had it in him to be a jerk. Like that's all that is. Is that guy is such a jerk that he found out about this, found out she was happy, and goes, you know what? I can ruin that. There I go. And I don't think it's over. I don't think it's over whatsoever. I think the guy needs to process stuff. I think he has a lot of stuff to sort through. I think that, eventually the romance is going to start budding again. But right now, he's got images in his head that he doesn't want to have.
Well, and hopefully he didn't watch the whole thing. Hopefully he just clicked play and was like, nope,
Well, I would
not
hope
gonna
so
watch
too.
this.
Yeah, but some guys they do this. They see something that's bad and they're just like, I'm gonna watch the train wreck anyway. It's like the idea of when the Two Girls One Cup video first came out, and they're like, I'm gonna watch the whole thing, and I was like, no, you know what? That's not good. We're gonna step away. So
Nope, never even seen it.
yeah, well,
Never
it's
even
got
Googled it.
don't look it up. It's awful. But basically, I think the guy's going to have to take some time. He's going to really need to recover himself from all of this. And I think the relationship can work. What do you guys say?
I think so. I think they can definitely get over it. And I mean, she was already going to counseling for it anyway, so maybe he could just come in for a few sessions because then the counselors kind of already know what she's working with. So maybe
Yeah.
they can kind of make it into like a couple sessions and just kind of
I
talk it out.
completely agree. What about you, Gator?
Oh, it has every bit of the ability to survive. It just both sides need to continue to be honest, open, and understanding as they have been. I mean,
Yep.
that's just the simple. It's a strong relationship based on trust, and that needs to continue first and foremost.
It's a lot of times when you're at your darkest, that's when you need to support. He's at his darkest. This is where you need to support and then maybe even seek outside help. I think you guys got it. I think it's something that's definitely worth going through, especially considering your past and how much this guy cares. With that in mind, we're going to hit our next subject, but we're going to take a break first. So you're listening to Open for Discussion on SolidStateRadio.net. We'll be back right after this. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Open for Discussion on SolidStateRadio.net. Yeah, so we're back. I mean, this is going to be so fun for the people watching the videos because they're like, what the hell are they doing? We have sponsors at the radio station. That's what we're really doing here is a radio show. The videos and stuff, I mean, it's more fun. I kind of like it. I like the visuals. I gesture a lot.
He loves looking at our beautiful faces.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I do. I miss
My
the
wife
visual.
shaved this one today. She shaved
Ooh.
all of that for me today with a straight razor.
It looks beautiful.
Nice.
I know.
It's
It's
very
a-
nice
like-
lines.
Yeah, I like
It's
your
a
beard.
weird-
It's
Yeah.
growing.
Lush.
Luscious, right? Yeah.
How,
It's our
how long are
weekly
you going to
trust
grow yours
exercise.
out?
What?
How long are you going to grow your beard out?
I don't
We
know.
get like Duck Dynasty or
No. I've had it long before. Anybody that's known me for a while, I have grown them out before, but it usually gets about this long, and then once it gets longer, I trim it back and then grow it to here. This is like the glory zone for my beard. I love this length. It's just long enough that it feels great. It looks good. It covers up the double chin so no one can see it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I've
know-
known you for like 11 years. I think I've seen you clean shaven like once, maybe twice.
No, you
Like
haven't.
maybe. Or like partially. Like
Yeah,
short.
there was more than one time that trimming the beard went sour.
That happens. That's the
Yeah,
only
it's
time
just-
I ever clean shave is when you're just like, "Nyeh," and you're like, oh no.
Right.
Because I was thinking about that earlier. I'm like, how long have I known Gator? I'm like, oh, it's been a while.
Yeah, over a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think Goat is the only one around that has ever seen me clean shaven.
I have.
And I think he
Please
knows
tell me you
why
have
I-
pictures. Because
I
that'd be
think he knows
awesome.
why I keep a beard.
I don't think I have pictures, but I don't, I'm
No.
not really a picture guy, so there's
No.
large gaps in my life.
And you may not even remember what I look like without a beard either.
Oh, I think it wouldn't matter because, to be honest, it was so long ago that,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have,
Like, I think you just like came out with the beard. You were just born with it.
the minute it started to grow, I didn't stop it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how long I've had a beard. I can tell you the last time that I remember actually putting a razor to my jawline. And I'm talking, it's been over a decade.
I did it a couple of years ago because I was curious because, I always keep the chin scruff. Like, that's usually my thing. Right now, we're trying to do the Wayne Static, and we're going to see how long that goes. Because I'm getting ready to be done soon. But at the same time, like, I've always had the chin scruff thing or whatever, right? And I got rid of that, and I did the clean shave, and that whole, like, double chin thing. Yeah, there was like a little bit of a gooseneck, and I was like, "Oh no, that's not good, bud." So
I don't have one of those beards to cover it up.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's nice to have a little scruff there, and you're just like, "Hey, that doesn't exist." All right, so
The joy of a beard.
yeah, right. Well, the whole thing's a nightmare. But let's you guys have heard the term, the one that got away.
Hmm.
Well, Gator, you're out of this. You're out of this. Rose, have you ever had a moment where you've
In the
had the
beard.
person that
Screw
got
you
away?
guys.
You ever felt that way?
Have I ever felt that way or somebody else ever felt that way?
Have you ever felt that way? Because Gator's married and everything's fine. He's with the one. Like, that was it. It happened. He's a lucky son of a bitch.
I'm not running away. I'm just getting a beard.
Jerk face?
But have you ever had the one that got away in your mind?
Yeah, I would say so. It
Just-
happens, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, because I can think of, I can think of one relationship in my life where I would consider that. Well, I think of two people in my life where they were the people that got away, and it's really my fault on both of those. But regardless, like there are moments where you go, that would have been if I was more mature back then. If I knew this, what I knew now, and
It's like,
instead
yeah,
of
if I knew then what I knew now.
yes,
Yeah, there's one.
yeah, you get that like it's I wish. So I can
Time
sympathize
machine.
with- yes, time machine with knowledge of now, but at the same time, this is why I can kind of relate to what happened here, but it's a little bit different. There's a bit of a spin on this that's not the most pleasant.
Ooh.
So my fiance left me for his one that got away 4 years ago. They've divorced and he wants to get back together. So yeah, I knew that was going to be their interaction there. So my fiance broke off our engagement, when his high school girlfriend moved back to our city. They quickly got engaged, married, and had a baby before it had even been a year. I was so blindsided and hurt, I don't think I ever really got over my ex, which is why I'm making this post to get some outside insight. My ex reached out to me a few days ago to catch up. He claimed that he regretted breaking,
He was just laughing.
Just laughing, bud.
regretted breaking up with me 2 months after he did, but because his ex-wife was pregnant at the time, he felt he owed it to his son to try and make it work. He said the relationship quickly fell apart when he realized his ex wasn't looking for a life partner, but somebody to financially support her. He said the financial issues is what led to their it led to their divorce. They've been divorced for 6 months and have 2 children together. According to him, his ex regularly tries to get back together with him, but he doesn't want her. He ended up asking me if I was willing to give him a second chance. In some ways, my ex has become the one that got away. And I probably would have jumped at the chance to get back with him a few months ago. However, I've recently been talking to this guy, and while we're not official or anything, we did go on a date or two. We did go on a date 2 weeks ago, and it went really well. I feel like it could progress into something good, and I don't know if my ex is worth losing it over. I'd appreciate any advice on what to do in this situation. So it's very interesting. This woman's ex, who they were engaged, he left her because he had the chance to be with what he considered the girl that got away. Now she looks at him as being the guy that got away because he wants to be back in her life, and it's an interesting scenario. Gator, what do you do?
No.
Okay, bud. Why?
So
Elaborate.
at one point in your relationship, you had a good enough relationship and a strong enough one that you both said, you know what, this is it. This is the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. This is the person I want. That's your goal, right?
Right.
Like that's what you say. That's how you feel. That's what you want to do. And I mean, people change, things change, situations change, personalities change, whatever it may be. Okay. At that point in your life, that's the person that you wanted to spend the rest of your life with. Do you honestly think that that guy is the same he was 4 years ago?
No.
Not a friggin' chance.
I mean,
And he wasn't even the person that you thought he was.
I really like that perspective because that wasn't one that I thought about because I'm still hung up on the original portion of it. So I like that perspective. You want to continue to elaborate?
No, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. He's not the guy he was 4 years ago. Your date may have gone well because he's fallen into old routines and old habits that were easy for him to go back into.
She hasn't gone out on a date with this guy. They've just been talking.
No, she's dating somebody else, kind of.
She's dating someone else, kind of.
Well, then date the other guy. leave this ex in the dirt. He left you in the dirt and didn't give two craps about you. Now that his relationship has gone downhill, he's like, oh, I got backup because this chick likes me.
Rose.
So my opinion is, I couldn't let that go. If he left you for somebody else before, why do you want to be with me now? I'm not going to be your number two. If you didn't pick me then, I'm not picking you now. So no, because I got something good going with this new guy, and I don't want to ruin that. So you can just choose me as number two again.
Yeah.
No, you
Okay.
lost your chance.
That was the point that I was getting across. Like, that's what I saw it as. Like, I agree with Rose. I like your insight on it too, Gator, because you're absolutely right. Like, going in the future, he's not even the same person that he was.
No.
And he could be better, but I don't care.
That.
Well, I don't care if he's better. I don't care because so here's the idea. Here's the weird thing about the one that got away, right? I pined for the one that got away because I was single. Because I wasn't with anybody. Like, anytime I've ever been in a serious relationship where it was headed somewhere, and I'm not talking about like a couple of dates or whatever. I mean, like, you're with somebody to the point where they're your fiance. There is no one that got away. You're choosing to get married to somebody. You should love that person.
If you feel that way about somebody, like say you are engaged and you still feel like that person got away and you still want to be with that other person, then obviously you're not loving who you're engaged to either.
That's my argument. Yeah, he made the right decision by leaving because
right.
that way they're not in a terrible relationship.
Right.
But at the
So
same
he should have left.
No, he should have left. He did the right thing. The problem is for her to sit there and go, like, should I give him a second shot? Because no, this guy decided that he wanted to leave. If he didn't want to leave, that's a different story. But he considered this person the one that got away when he was already engaged to somebody. You don't get that. You make that choice that you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody. There isn't one that got away because you're with that person.
Right. Not only that, but in her mind, as far as I'm looking at it anyway, take it as a boost of confidence that you're desirable.
Yeah. Well, definitely.
In all honesty, somebody out there are more than one person that want you.
Trust me, it's really nice to feel wanted.
Right. So take it as that's that feeling of, oh, no, I am worth the effort. I'm worth the time. This is good. I like it. And because I am worth it, the only people that get it are the ones that deserve it. Yes. And not some dude that's like, no, I don't like you like I like this one because she's a high school sweetheart. It's like, well, go have kids with that one and good luck with Terry Lynn.
Yeah. That's it. It's over with. It's just done. You can't do that. Now, the guy that you're with, who knows? Just see what happens. That isn't a thing. You've only been together for a short while, but give him the benefit of the doubt over somebody that left in the past at the pinnacle. I mean, if the guy left for different reasons other than to leave you because he was hung up on someone else, maybe there might be reasons behind that. But in this case, no. Now, let me ask. I'm gonna pose a question to you guys here on a personal note. If you just started dating somebody and then the one that got away came into the picture, what do you do then?
Do you have official titles?
No, you're just dating.
Well, we've already discussed this.
Well, okay, maybe you even have an official title, say your boyfriend, girlfriend. But I mean, like, we're not talking long-term relationship. Maybe you've been seeing each other for 3 months. Do you go?
If you've got official titles, then it's I'm invested in this relationship right now. But like we discussed before, if you don't have official titles, if you're not sitting there going, no, we've discussed it and we're focusing on this. If you don't have that, then it's, no, I went to have coffee with this guy. I was meeting up with him, see how things go.
Okay.
See, I'm that romantic where I'm like, oh, okay. Like, if the one that got away approached me and it was like a boyfriend-girlfriend situation and I can't see myself spending the rest of my life with that person, then yeah, I would try that because I'm that kind of person where I'm like, oh, I like that romantic kind of
Disney
idea.
princess?
Yes.
No, and
You
I
know,
mean, I think that makes perfect sense too. It's just I don't know if I would do it at the same time as being in a like an actual significant
or
relationship.
maybe not at the same time, maybe break that off, have a
Right.
little bit of a waiting period, and then pursue that.
I think that time is the issue, the key factor here, because I think that depending on how long you've been in this relationship, if I've been in a relationship with somebody for like a year or 2 years at this point, like even if the one that got away comes back in my life, I'm not running away from that. If I've been dating someone for 3 months, I'll put it this way, personal experience. This happened. I was dating a girl. She was an awesome girl. Really liked her a lot. We got along really, really well, you know. Then the one that got away that I had pursued just months prior, or whatever, I said, hey, I really liked you. I know I screwed things up. I want to try again. Can I get a second chance? And then there was nothing. And then all of a sudden, she came back into my life one day. And I was left with that decision. What do? Do you go for this girl that you've been heartbroken over, you loved, and you really knew that it was you screwed that up? Or do you continue with this new thing that is working, but there's no guarantees or anything? So I made a choice. I'm single right now, so let me tell you, the choice was the wrong one. But I did end up in a relationship with. I got the one. I had my second chance. It didn't pan out. It is what it is. Are there regrets on that end? Yes and no. But regardless of what I would have done in that situation, there would have been regrets. I feel because
you have your answer.
yes, I had my answer. I got
Yeah.
my second chance. It didn't work.
Yeah, there's no what ifs in that situation. You
Right.
have your answers. You know how it goes, and you're not sitting at home wondering, well, I wonder if I could have actually made that work with her. What if I
Yeah.
would have picked that?
No, I did try that and it didn't. So it's at the end of the day, you kind of take a look at it and say how much time is invested in here, because it does. Had the girl that I was seeing during that time, had we been together for a long time, there was more of an official title, it wouldn't have even been a thought that crossed my mind.
Right.
Dating somebody for like a month or two, then you're left with the devil's choice there. So yeah, I can kind of sympathize one way or the other. In this case, no. In this case, it's different. In this case, you should have been the person because he asked you to marry him and then decided not to. It's over.
Right.
Done. Gone.
Peace, bro.
Later. Yes. All right. How are we on time, Gator?
Well, I mean, for technically speaking, the first two went over a little bit. We're 8 minutes away from 1.5, so I mean, if there is commercial breaks, it would probably be a good idea to catch up on timing for this one.
Okay. Well, the next one.
I mean, I'm cool either way.
Well, we've section, so
I mean, when it comes down to it, Facebook listeners are going to get quality and not have to listen to ads this whole time.
all right.
They're
Yeah,
going to
I'll
be
take
like, "Oh, let's keep this rig rolling. This is great."
right on. I mean, I can pretend to do the ads. It'll be super fun.
No, we're not going to actually do pretend read throughs. Good.
I don't know.
But
no,
I mean,
I'm not doing it. Because Sean will
we
yell.
do the fake ad break. Let's do a fake ad break, and then come back with the next topic. How's that?
All right, well, let's do the fake ad break, and then we'll do Am I the A-hole? So you're listening to Open for Discussion on SolidStateRadio.net. We'll be back right after this. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Open for Discussion on SolidStateRadio.net. I'm your host, Adam the Goat Blue Luffy. With me are my co-hosts, Rose.
Hi.
And Gator Grant.
Hello.
And we're going to do the Am I the A-hole segment. And in this segment, we will judge people on whether or not they're A-holes. That's how this works.
Usually, it's a yes.
Usually, well, I don't know.
I would say it's probably about maybe 60-40.
All I know is every time
Everything's a
we
little
do
bit
this,
more.
we get to call people a-holes. So
I mean, there's always an a-hole in the scenario.
always.
Always.
Oh, definitely. Well, yes. Okay, that's fair. There is always an a-hole in the scenario. That's for sure.
Even if it's one of us.
Usually that's fair. That's fair. I'll let you take that bullet. So I've got two controversial ones and one that's a little less controversial. I want to start with the controversial ones because they're more fun, right? So
I think so.
yeah, am I the a-hole for abandoning my girlfriend on top of a mountain?
Ooh.
That laugh says it all. Okay, I know this sounds bad.
I mean, okay. Going dark. Hang with me.
Okay,
Hang with me, because this is dark.
okay, bud.
We like
Are you-
dark. Okay.
Are you climbing Mount Everest and you can't bring a body back?
Well,
No. I mean, there's just no room. I can't carry you.
fair enough. I don't believe this is that situation, though.
Then yes, you're an a-hole.
Okay.
That's the
Well,
only conceivable way of going. No, everything's fine.
we're gonna get through it, okay? We're gonna go through it.
We're gonna try.
I know this. I know this sounds bad, but hear me out. Hear me out on this one. It wasn't even a big mountain. Basically,
Mount Everest.
I've been going on hikes alone on the weekend mornings while my girlfriend eats pancakes. On Sunday, I went to do a peak that's easy if you're a vet like me, but still takes a few hours. I went early so I could be back for the football game at 1. I could not miss this game, so I woke up early to go, and my girlfriend gets up with me and is like, "All right, let's do it." And I was like, "What?" She goes, she gives me this whole spiel about trying to better herself and her body, which she gives me every year, but I still feel obligated to bring her along. Okay.
I put the pieces together, man. This is great.
Yeah. Before I agreed, I made sure she understood that it would be challenging and that I was going to be going at a brisk pace because I needed to be home in time for the game. I told her if she wanted, we could do some lighter hikes later this week so she could ease herself into it, but she insisted she could keep up. But of course, it didn't go that way. She fell behind immediately, before the real ascent even began. I offered to turn around and tackle it another time, but she insisted she just needed to adjust to the altitude change. Nope. It took us over 2 hours to get up, and she complained and begged for water the entire time. We got to the top, and I told her we needed to get down faster than we went up because if we didn't, I was going to miss kickoff. She got all upset over that and was like, "Isn't spending time with me more important than the game?" I knew this was bait, so I just said back that I told her the conditions beforehand, and it wasn't respectful for her to slow me down like this. She got real mad and basically shrieked across the entire peak that I might as well leave her up there. I was so angered and embarrassed by her that I did.
Oh boy.
So I told her the descent down was easier. There were plenty of people around to help her if she needed it, and I headed back down the mountain alone. I felt bad, so I waited for her in the car and watched the game on my phone. And she didn't make it down until the fourth quarter, which I pointed out to her as soon as she opened the door. She won't talk to me. I know my actions were hurtful, but her peak freakout had humiliated me, and I don't know what else to do. Am I the a-hole?
Easy answer or tough answer?
What is your answer to this, Gator? What is your answer? Would you think that he's an a-hole? Is he the a-hole in the situation?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. I think that you are putting the fact that you have somebody with you that is very much a novice to climbing in general and hiking and climbing a mountain.
Yes.
And things like that. And you tried to set it up to be like, I'm not missing this football game. It's a football game, bro.
But he warned her beforehand.
Don't care. He knew, even if he warned her, he knew what was going to happen. He's
Yeah.
not
She
stupid.
knew what was gonna happen too.
She may not have. She's a novice. She doesn't understand. She,
No,
I mean,
And
Okay.
why
probably
of today
tried
of
to.
all days does she choose to finally want to go?
Okay, to give Gator's argument credence, okay, and I'm not taking sides here yet. I'm gonna wait until we all look good through this first, and then I'll weigh in on this to see who I agree with. But to give Gator credence, she probably doesn't know. One time I went and did workouts with Vaughn. You remember Vaughn Gator? I went to the weight room. Vaughn was a tough guy. He was a very strong man. I've never lifted weights before in my life.
Oh,
Vaughn decided to do, the leg press machine where your legs are in the air, right? Right. So Vaughn did what he did and did 10 reps of whatever the weights were. Then he had me do it, and my knees popped down and ended up right here. And I couldn't lift it back up. And he yelled at me the entire time. And that didn't help because I didn't have leg strength because I had never done it before. And I
Right.
didn't know that I couldn't do it because I wouldn't know. Same situation.
so here, like, I'm looking at this as like from personal experience. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I went to Colorado a few years ago with the family. We went on vacation. We had an awesome stay out in Colorado, and we have, like, my wife's got some family that live out there. Like that's their whatever, and one of them, his job is to basically walk these trails and climb these mountains.
Yeah.
It's for like conservation or something like that. I don't know exactly. I mean, it's just what it is. And while we were out there, they're like, "Yeah, let's go climb this mountain. It's not that big a deal. It's not a hard mountain, and so you guys will be fine." And I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to climb a mountain. Like, who, if given the opportunity, why not? Like, yeah, I want to go climb a mountain." And so they're like, "Okay, cool. We'll all go up, and it shouldn't be too bad, and then we'll all come back, and everything will be fine and whatnot, and da 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 da." I was like, "All right, sounds good, sweet, let's do it." Huh? Like, not even a quarter of the way up, and I'm looking at my wife going, I'm not gonna make it. Like, I'm not gonna make it.
I think I'm
know
gonna die.
Right, like, I'm gonna die on this mountain in Colorado, 3,000 miles or 100 miles away, whatever. I don't care. This is it. This is how it happens.
This is
You
this is
know?
my end.
Right. Now, I did make it to the timberline. So I got up high enough that I was above where trees grow,
Oh, okay.
which is really, I mean, it was cool. Like, if
Yeah,
you,
I imagine it would be.
right, like, go to my Facebook. It's my banner on the back.
Okay.
Is the panoramic shot I took from the timberline. Okay, which I'm proud as a peacock for making it that far. Okay, it took me way longer than I expected it to take. It was so much more difficult than I could ever have imagined walking a trail to be. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like I was climbing a rock face. Like, I was walking a trail. It was so hard.
And to be honest, I feel like that's what this is. I feel like they are
Right.
walking trails.
I was told it was going to be no big deal. I was told that this is a beginner deal, that this is no problem. You'll be able to scale it easily.
Right, and that's a good warning for you. I get that. Like, that makes sense. So this is what your standpoint is on this, right?
Yeah, he's an a-hole.
All right, Roman, go ahead. You get the floor.
All right. Well, he said going in that he has to be home for this game. So I'm guessing it's either a special game or he's got something going on with this game that it's important that he's got to be there. So he's giving her that notice that, hey, but he does this every day. So why pick today when the day that he's got to be back at a certain time when you could possibly go any other time? Why today when you know he's got to be back at a certain time? I'm thinking girl brain here. It's some kind of manipulation tactic.
Okay.
But anyway, so if he's saying, hey, we're going through this, you're kind of struggling. How about we just turn back now? Because he offered.
Yeah.
She didn't take it. She's like, no, we're gonna keep going. Well, you know the time, and you know he's got to be back. So why are we keeping pushing forward? if you know. See, that's kind of my thing there. So no, he's not an a-hole because he told you he's got to be back at a certain time. He already pre-warned you.
Yeah.
So stop trying to be a girl about it and pick either you or the game because I already told you it's going to be the game.
It's a football game.
But
So,
you already knew.
are you saying he's not the a-hole then?
I'm saying he's not an a-hole.
She's
Okay.
an a-hole?
Yeah, kind of.
All right. Do you want me to weigh in on this?
Sure.
Yes. Break the tie, go.
I'm siding with Rose. I believe that he is not the a-hole, and you could say whatever you want. Yes, it's a football game. Yes, it's whatever. I don't care what it is. When somebody says this is the one thing that I want to do, and I think football does take some sort of credence to it, simply for the fact that there are only 16 games in a season. That's it. Happens once a week, every week. There's one bye week, right? But I mean, that's it. It's only during a certain time of year. This guy's got it set up. He planned out his day. She woke up that day, sprung it on him. He wasn't something they had talked about or figured out before. She just said, "Hey, I'm going to do this." He tried saying, he gave her all the other options, saying, "Let's work this out a different day. I really wanted to do this because that's what I wanted to do today." There was no argument of let's spend time together or whatever. She went into this spiel about trying to change, her body type and so on and so forth. And with that in mind, he even told her and gave her the other options. And she's still like, "No, we're gonna do it this way." He gets up
Today.
the hill. Yeah, they get up the hill. They're not even all the way up, and she's struggling. He sees this and says, "Hey, let's stop. Let's go back down." He gives her an out. She doesn't take it. How are you an a-hole at this point? You've done everything that you can and to do the one thing that you wanted to do that you stated. I think it's an a-hole thing to get to the top and say, like, the game's more important than me. No, that wasn't the thing. That has nothing to do with it. You're making a made up argument that didn't exist before, so you can blame me for your struggles. Don't care. Don't care. She's an a-hole for this. Like, you can't sit there like if Brent comes up over to my house somehow and he's like, "Bud, let's lift weights or whatever," but I got to get done doing this by whatever time. I'm dying. I'm not keeping up with Brent. The guy looks like a god. It's just not happening. I know my limitations. Once we start working out and I go, "Okay, I can't do this," I'm stopping. I know my limitations. She should have recognized this at some point in time, even with the best intentions, even being completely naive. It's a reasonable request to say, "Hey, there's a 4-hour game set aside. This is when I want to do this." Let's also keep in mind the time that it took for her to get down that hill. He made it for kickoff. It was the fourth quarter. Football games are long.
Oh, I will give a little bit of value to that, where it takes literally a quarter of the time to get down than it did to go up. Like you can cook coming down the mountain. Like the minute that we were like, "Hey, it's time to go down," like don't get me wrong, like I was sore as crap. My feet were gone,
Sure.
my legs were toasted, whatever it may be. Going down, I could walk down mountains for days. I'm
Yeah,
fine
there's
with that.
nice. Gravity helps a lot in that.
Right. Like, I mean, don't like my knees probably hated me, but at some point it was okay. The pain just made everything go numb. you know? But
Yeah.
for her to take that long to get down the mountain, oh, she was straight pouty. She was pouting the whole way down.
Absolutely. But to yell at him, to go through all of these things, I can't because it's one request. It's a reasonable request. He set up his whole week based upon this. She randomly decided to go through with this. I mean, I don't randomly decide to work out, Gator. When I decide to better myself, I try to formulate a plan or whatever, especially if it involves other people and time. Like I can't call you up and be like, "Hey man, let's go do this right now."
Right.
You
Usually
got
that's
other things going on.
right. But all I'm saying is, like, the main reason I would call him an a-hole, and I'm not trying to take away from the fact that she has royally goofed this,
Yes.
but I will call him an a-hole all day on the sole fact that he looked at it and went, "I want to climb a mountain and watch a football game today, and that's all I'm gonna do, and you are ruining my day. Like, buddy, it's a mountain that's not going anywhere. Like, the mountain will be here tomorrow, and that's okay. You're obviously an avid climber and trail person, whatever. So you can do it tomorrow. It's okay.
But that's true. But he also gave her the option to do something easier during this, to go
Right.
back down at that point in time. Like there's other options that were there. She wanted to do this thing that he does all the time. Normally, she doesn't accompany with him. It's a complete surprise.
Right. But if he recognizes it and sees that she's going to come anyway, why not be like, you know what? Today's just not going to work out. I don't want to see this argument happen. I know what's probably going to happen. I know you say it probably won't, but I'm smart enough to know that it will. And so let's just go out and get breakfast.
I mean, you're right on that. You're absolutely correct in the eyes that like he could have just taken her to the easy trail and she would have never known.
Right. She wouldn't have known.
But you're giving that like a lot of foresight after being blindsided by something. You know what I mean? It's hard sometimes to come up with those solutions on the fly. Like I get it, but I'm not sitting there the entire time going like, "Oh, this is going to turn into an argument." I'm like, "All right, let's try to figure this out." We've talked about all these different things. She thinks she can do it. Maybe she can. I don't know. We'll see.
How long have they been in a relationship? Does
I
it
have
say?
no idea. It doesn't say.
It doesn't say. Okay. Because
I mean,
if
they're
it
married
says
couple.
they're married,
Yeah.
oh no excuse. Nope. You know the argument's coming. You know what's about to happen. That doesn't take an insane amount of foresight. That just takes a partner that's had arguments.
Then I don't care either because she's trying to pick an argument at this point, which
Well,
pisses me
yeah.
off too.
I'm not saying that she's not at fault. I'm saying the question was, am I an a-hole for doing this to my wife? Yes. Is she an a-hole for knowing what your plans were and actively destroying them? Yes. But are you also an a-hole for knowing that was going to happen and letting it happen anyway? Yes.
You're going with like everybody's an a-hole. That's your
Yes.
answer.
Everybody.
I'm still going he's not an a-hole. I think he's justified in what he did. I don't care. You need to have repercussions. Suck it. I don't care.
And this is why Gator's married and we're not.
Hey!
Because I have the foresight to see what's coming. Be like, oh, this is what we're doing today is arguing. Let's not do that. I'm gonna go make some French toast. That's what's
Nope, let's go eat.
Right.
Here's some food.
There's a better option here. Let's go find it.
So, all right. Let's move on to the next one. The next one's also controversial. It's a very weird scenario. It's not one that most people would be put in. Okay.
Okay.
So, am I the a-hole for not agreeing to let my husband have a baby with another woman? There's an explanation given here.
That's why I'm not saying anything.
Am I
So,
an a-hole?
Huh?
Am I an a-hole for
Yes.
not allowing my husband to have a child with another woman?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
There's got to be circumstances, though.
They're hard.
I would love to hear some.
You're not going to trick me. I know there's something.
I'll let him fall into it.
I'm ready. Let's go. Let me hear these circumstances.
Oh, by the way, Gator, on the last argument or whatever, the am I the a-hole, the internet agrees with you and disagrees with Rose and I. So if it makes you feel better, you have the backing of the internet.
No, that makes me feel stupid.
I'm above the internet. So
crap.
Anyway, she's just a 32-year-old woman. She's married to a great man, James, who's 36, who was a sperm donor to his friend Miranda and her wife Vivian. Okay, lesbian couple. There we go. And they have a sweet little boy, and he is very involved uncle, quotation marks. This all started before I was in the picture, and when I first started dating James, it felt a little weird at times, but grew to accept it because not all families are the same. Also, Miranda and Vivian, they're great people. James and I have been married for a while and are trying for a baby. Because of the pandemic, we decided to not actively try again until next year, but are still not using protection. So if it happens, sort of thing, but they're not going to force the issue. I don't know what that's like. I've never tried to have
You
everything
just
in
get
my.
to saying all the time.
I don't know. Like I hear the things like it's this cycle, the moon is in the right place. For me, it's always just like make sure the condom is on perfectly and that we never have children. So
Have you met my son?
well, so because of so yeah. Anyway, recently Miranda approached James about being a donor again. He said that he needed to think about it and consulted me. And to be honest, I told him I was uncomfortable with the idea. Like I said, Miranda Vivian's son was already in the picture before I came around, so I know I needed to accept it or leave. But now that I am his wife and trying to conceive myself, I don't think I can ever handle seeing another woman carry his baby. James understood my stance and suggested Miranda and Vivian find another donor or adopt. They refused, saying that they wanted their son to have a sibling that was related to him, and this time Vivian wanted to experience giving birth. Okay. So James still refused, saying that he couldn't do it again. He tried to take all the blame, but I guess they were able to put two and two together and started asking me why I was so against them having a bigger family. I explained my reasons. They said that I was being unreasonable and how my lack of pregnancy isn't their fault. Since then, Miranda and Vivian have restricted access to their son, and I know it's starting to take a toll on James and his family because their son is technically the only grandchild. I know that my reasons are purely selfish, but am I in the wrong here? And so taking the lesbian couple out of it, because I think we can all agree that their reaction to this is really kind of crappy.
Yeah.
Right? So taking them out of the equation, because yeah, they're a-holes for that. The real thing is she in the wrong? Is she an a-hole for making this restriction? Rose, do you want to have the floor first?
Sure. So, okay, personally, I would be okay with it, but she's not okay with it and she's vocalizing that. So, no, I don't think that she's an a-hole because that's how she truly feels. So, if she just went along with it, then she's going to regret it in the long run because she's going to be like constantly resenting the fact that she's didn't say something when she really does have a huge problem with it. So yes, if you have a problem with it, say it, voice your opinion, communicate. So no, I don't think she's an a-hole at all.
Okay, that's a fair assessment, and I like that you bring in her being okay with it. Like that's really important because that's the boundaries that she set forward for herself.
Mhm.
Gator.
No, she's not an a-hole.
Okay.
Not even a little bit.
Okay.
What actually bothers me the most about all of this and listening to it is the entitlement to James's sperm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just because you had it once.
Right.
Well, okay. So the edit on this was that apparently it was like an open-ended discussion where at one point in time he did say that he would be willing to donate again.
But that was before she
you mean
came along.
someone changed an opinion?
Yeah, no, I know, Gator. I'm letting you know all the information. That's all. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus here. I'm giving you more.
Right, but over the course of probably a couple years.
Yes,
Mhm.
obviously.
Yeah.
You know, at least one anyway, but a couple years is more than likely.
Couple.
I would
And
assume.
you know, he's been a wonderful uncle that has been very involved because he feels like he should, which is great. Obviously, you know, the couple has been a great set of parents for the child as well.
Yes.
All that is great. No problems there. But he's trying to have a child with his wife.
Yes.
Like, he wants to have a child with his wife. Start a family with that. And his wife says, I'm not super comfortable with somebody else carrying your baby other than me.
Yeah.
She has all the right in the world to say that. 100%.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know, I mean, that makes perfect total sense to me, and I have no problem with that whatsoever. I think the couple's reaction, like we said,
That one's bad, yes.
Yeah.
dude, like you can be great parents, but man, like what are you doing? And not only that, but they're like, we put two and two together, and you will let us have your husband's sperm, and you're bad because of it. Like,
Well, I understand the frustration on their point. I really do, especially when it was something that they had talked about previously. That doesn't change the fact that people have the right to change their mind, especially with their own genetic makeup. So it's a big thing. It really is. And taking out aside, so all right, I'll weigh in. I'll give my opinion.
Mhm.
I kind of think she's a little bit of an a-hole. And the only reason for this is because of the reason she has. And I get it. That's her reason. She has the right to be uncomfortable and so on and so forth. It irks me a little bit though, because the idea that like, well, we haven't conceived yet. That shouldn't be an issue. If that's your only reason why you don't want this to happen, like say you were already pregnant, right? Say that's the case. You were already pregnant and then you'd be okay with it. That doesn't sit well with me. I don't like that. That seems very, very selfish. And well, their reaction does make them the a-holes out of everything. And it is it's your husband. And he's respecting your wishes, and it is what it is. It's really kind of an a-hole move to me to just be like, well, I can't have a baby, so he's not screwing these ladies. Like that's the thing. Like he's not having sex with the lesbians. That isn't how that happens. It's the turkey baster thing, right? So like,
as far as we know,
I think that's how that works.
They
Maybe
could have some kind of arrangement.
yeah.
right?
Although the one's the sister, so I don't think that would actually.
Yeah, IVF is super expensive, so she's gonna have the baby this time.
I'm just saying that there, in my mind, there's no sex being involved. There's no breaking of trust or anything like that. Then the sperm's it's going to go into a cup or whatever. It isn't like you're missing out on that sperm. Trust me, if people are missing out on sperm, then I've destroyed every girl's dreams of having children from this point forward. Just buckets of being missed, right? So this is not really the issue. I think that her being like, hey, I haven't had this yet. I haven't had this experience. It's not taking away from that. If you want to, you could go and get the turkey baster thing and it'd be a guaranteed thing too, unless she has actual problems, which is a different scenario altogether. In which case, in that theory, it would almost be nice for him to actually have a child, right? Have a genetic makeup. I know that there's already one that's there, but I don't know. I get it. It's her thing. I get that she gets the right to say that, but her reasoning for that, I do kind of think she's a little bit of an a-hole for it. That's just
Well, and he seems to agree with her though, because he's going along with it, so he's okay with it. So there's not even a fight there.
No, and there isn't. Like I said, at the end of the day, there's really nothing wrong with this. I don't like her idea behind it. He's doing things because he's a good husband. When we go back to what Gator said about them getting in a fight on the mountain, right? In the last argument, he's avoiding the fight on the mountain. He goes, hey, would you be okay with this? No, you're not. If you're not okay with this, then neither am I. But the other thing is, he is okay with it. You know that that's the scenario. It's more of just the fact that he wants to make sure that the person he's married to is in the most comfortable place. He's doing the right thing to do in a relationship because he's not in a relationship with the lesbian couple. They're just friends. That's all that is. So you're right there. I mean, like I said, it's not. She's not wrong. It's the pettiness of it that makes me kind of look at her as a little bit of an a-hole. That's the only thing that I've got. If she had concerns like, technically you're the father of these children, so now if you had two and there was something to happen where they got a divorce or whatever and decided they wanted child support, he would be on, debt for that. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that being a concern. I could go there with that and say, that's a good argument. That's an argument to make. That's an argument to have. But just because she cannot have a child, I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me, but I'm probably in the wrong here. I will admit that.
It's tough.
Like I
Nah,
said, these are controversial picks here.
I don't
Yeah.
think. I mean, I don't think it's all that tough, honestly. You know, I mean, obviously the wife and the husband had a conversation. The husband had a little bit of a, hesitation to it, but regardless if it was his own personal hesitation or if it was a hesitation of, I don't know if she's cool with it, that kind of thing, they're on the same page. And
No,
yeah, they've got to struggle through stuff and all that, but she's not an a-hole.
no, I'm not saying the thing that what I'm saying isn't that the situation in itself is wrong. Like the situation's fine. It was handled perfectly. It's all done. It's all set aside. Like that's fine. That's great. The only part that makes me feel like she's a little bit of an a-hole is because of her reason. You know,
Yeah. I mean,
the
the
kids
pettiness.
can't have ice cream because I can't have ice cream today.
Yeah, I mean, the pettiness on both sides probably, I mean, it's not the greatest thing to hear about, that's for sure.
Like I said, it's completely very well done as spouses being together and coming together and forming an opinion together, as opposed to just this is what I want, so I'm going to do it anyway, or I'm demanding that you don't do that. No, he asked. It was all the right setup. I just don't like the pettiness of being because in the way she words things, if she said that she just doesn't ever really want someone else to, that would be one thing. But it's the idea that she hasn't had a child yet that seems to be the main focal point. And that it just bothers me. I don't like that. That seems selfish. That does seem like an A. Maybe it's just wording, and that's it. But yeah, that's me. Like I said, I'm most likely wrong here. How much time we got?
We can take a break.
All right, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we've got another Am I the A-hole, and then we're going to have the mad scramble. So you're listening to Open for Discussion on SolidStateRadio.net. We'll be back right after this. And hey, everybody, welcome back to Open for Discussion on SolidStateRadio.net. We are in the middle of the Am I the A-hole segment, and you know how normally I'm overly prepared for everything? Guess
Sure.
what, guys? We're on my last topic of today, so we're going to have to scramble a little bit after this one. Normally, all my backup topics are on the device that I'm looking into right now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yay!
I'll figure that out as we go through this. As you guys are talking, I'll start browsing and stuff, I promise. But this one's an interesting situation. Am I the a-hole for taking my good friend and her 2 kids on a vacation with me instead of my sister and her kids, even though she said she needed a break?
Sorry, I was reading Reddit. Say it again.
Am I the a-hole for taking my good friend and her 2 kids on vacation with me instead of my sister and her kids, even though she said she needed a break?
No.
No? Okay. So this happened when I was 24, and my sister is still upset about it and thinks I was the a-hole. I just want to see if I am or not. Long story short, I won a raffle at my job for an all-expense paid family vacation. It wasn't a super fancy prize to Disneyland or anything crazy. It was just a nice 3-day stay at this little beach house place. It was for 4 people. I asked a new boyfriend at the time to go with me, but he said he couldn't because of school. So I told nobody that I won. But when I came down to visit my family for the weekend, my sister was there with my niece and nephew, who are the 2 brattiest kids I've ever met, thanks to sis not disciplining them ever. I love them, but she lets them get into everything and never watches them unless someone, me or my mom, yells at her to get off her butt and watch them. Visiting is always a chore because I end up watching them to give our mom a break. It's pathetic. I'd considered inviting them to come before I arrived, but the longer I was there, the more I hated the idea. By the time I was packing up to go home, I knew I wasn't inviting them. She dumped them on me the entire time, like usual, and I knew if they came, it would turn into babysitting them, and she would have a vacation. So I didn't mention it. Next day, I told my friend, because she has 2 kids, older kids than Sis's kids, and very well behaved. She's a single working mom who could use a vacation. I offered to invite her along if she would pay for the gas and get us all to and from there, and she happily agreed. We went, had a blast. I had a pretty good tan. We ate lots of buffet food, did fun family type activities all weekend before coming back. I posted some pictures, nothing in your face, but just a couple of good, just what they were doing, right? When I got back and before lunch even rolled around, sister was blowing up my phone asking how the hell I could afford a vacation. I told her it was a raffle prize. She asked who won. I said me. She flipped out, demanding to know why I hadn't invited her. And I answered honest. Told her that I just didn't want to deal with her kids. She doesn't take care of them. She called me an a-hole, said I knew she needed a vacation, and hung up on me. Later, mom called, asking me why I promised niece and nephew I'd take them on a vacation. I said I never told them I would. Turns out Sid told them we were all supposed to go on vacation, but I ruined it, and now they couldn't. So they sobbed all day. I explained my side to mom, and I was mean to not invite them. She dropped it, and after I said I wasn't babysitting for the whole vacation. I could have invited them, but I just didn't want to. Sister and family think I should have done that before friends. Am I the a-hole?
No. I'll take this.
Okay.
It's your vacation. You can pick who you want to take with you because it's your vacation. Your relaxing time. So no, it's not going to be a vacation if you're stressed out because you have to watch your sister's kids all the time. You take who is going to be the most conducive to you relaxing and actually getting that vacation time. Because otherwise it's just work and it's going to be more stressful and you might as well not even have taken the vacation. So
Yeah, you didn't win a prize
no.
at that point.
Right, there's no prize. It's more of a punishment than anything else. So no, you're not an a-hole. Pick who you want to go on vacation with.
I can't disagree with you on that. Gator, what do you got?
Why is this world full of entitled people?
Because that's the world that we live in.
It's so aggravating to see that there's people that when someone else gets something good, when someone else does something well or progresses in life or is, promoted or positivity or wins the lottery, whatever.
Mhm.
You see these people come out of nowhere. They're like, hey, how come you didn't pull me with you? How come you
What
didn't
about
tell
me?
Yeah, what about me? What do I get?
Mhm.
We're good friends. You're doing well, so I should be doing well too then. So you're gonna take care of me and make sure that that's going well, right? Because you figured out the trick that I don't know, so you should just help me because that's the right thing to do. It's like, what? No. If she wants to take someone else because that sounds like more fun, then guess what? She's going to take someone else because that sounds like more fun. And if you
Right.
can't deal with that, then you shouldn't have gone in the first place.
Right? Save and take your own vacation, and then you don't have to worry about anybody else.
Right. Like,
Earn that vacation yourself.
You do. You deserve it. You earned it. You got it. Good for you. You want to take someone with you and enjoy a good time? Then go for it. I mean, like, that's like saying, okay, so for the last couple of years anyway, I've gone up to a cabin up near Oscoda.
Mhm.
It's been a great time. Like, I have a great time and everything. I have a brother, and he has a wife and a kid.
Yeah.
I have not invited him, not because I don't think it would be a good time, not because I don't think that it would be fun or, whatever it may be. My brother and I have a great relationship. But I invite my friend and his wife because that's what I felt like doing. And you know what? It was my choice to make. It was my choice to invite whoever I wanted to invite. And we had a really good friggin' time. So, and do I think my brother is like, how come I don't get the invite to go out? No, he's probably like, what'd you do? you know?
Yeah, show me what fun did you have? Like, what'd you do? What?
Did you take photos? Did you get
That's
wasted?
a normal supportive relationship, right? Like that's how it should work, right?
Right. You
Yeah.
should have a good time.
And normally I go to you guys before I answer things simply because I'm kind of aware of everything going into it. So I have a loaded answer. I like to hear what you guys on the spot have to say, more so than me, who's gone through the entire situation and analyzed it already.
And has had time to analyze it.
Yeah. But in this case, it was one that I really wanted to hear from you guys because I'm not super close with my family. Like we get along. Don't get me wrong. Like there's nothing wrong as far as that goes. But like I would never be in a situation like I don't know what's normal here. Like if you had a vacation, if you are super close to your family, is there some weird obligation there? Because we don't really even talk to each other very often. So like, to go on a vacation, like my brother was, I love him. He's a great guy. He was talking about us, like the entire family going on a cruise together. This was before the pandemic times. To celebrate his marriage, or I think that was what he wanted to do. I don't know. But he wanted like my mom, my stepdad, my sister, and her boyfriend, and me to all go on this cruise together with him and his wife. And I sounds like hell to me. So I mean, I love my mom, I love my family, but being on a boat with the people for a week is, I don't know if I could do it. I don't know, like, cause the only person that, yeah, I don't think I could do it. I'd have to be pretty much trashed the entire weekend. We all know how Boo sits well with me, and let's also talk about the fact that we're on a boat, and I don't know how that sits with me either. So it's not, to me, that's not a vacation. Like, because in order to do this, I'm going to have to take a week off of work, right? So that's my PTO time. I want to use it on something that I'm going to find more enjoyable than that. And don't get me wrong, I would have done it because I love my family. I love my brother. That's something he wanted. That's for him. It's not for me. But I would grudgingly do it. So you kind of get what I'm saying. So I didn't know if that's like a thing where you're like, oh no, I have this, I have to go to the sister first, because it doesn't make sense to me, because it is your vacation. You should be having fun. It isn't, and whether the kids are bratty and that's the reason or just whatever, I mean, I don't know. I have very close bonds with my friends. So if I won like a raffle ticket to go different places, I'm gonna go with Gustav Petrikov. I'm gonna go with Corey, who's in his room somewhere. I'm gonna go with Gator. I'm gonna go with, Nick or somebody, or maybe Sexy Brent. If I could get Sexy Brent to come with me, that would be the best. If I would mandate him to have to wear a man thong and that one. In fact, not just any man thong. I want him to wear the Borat man thong. You know, the one where it's like strapped up to his shoulders. Brent in that, oh my God. Ladies, you be very, very, it'd be like that Cardi B song.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. So I don't think he's an a-hole, whatever, at all. It didn't ring true to me, but I wanted to check with you guys first.
Nope, not an a-hole.
No.
Wonderful. We can agree to this. Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, we do.
Perfect. All right. So
plenty of time.
Oh, well, that makes me feel real weird.
If it makes you feel better, I found one too.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, do you want to do yours first, or?
I don't care.
All right, we'll ask Rose. This is how we're going to decide this.
Let's just both have the same topic.
I'll read my title. You read your title. And let's hope not for that. Would I be the a-hole if I went to the police about about a letter our neighbors left us?
Okay. Mine is, I get super bad vibes from my mom's boyfriend.
Oh no, you did one of the creepy ones.
I did not. I went to advice.
Yeah, but that's one of the creepy advice. Did you read all of it?
I did. I
Okay.
read it.
That's one of the ones that I skipped because every time I see that, it freaks me out. It always turns into real weird stuff.
Oh, I want real weird stuff. Let's go with Gators. I like it when it's real weird.
It's not that bad. It's actually a really good topic. I would actually expect to see this one on the show anyway.
Okay, that's fair. Go ahead.
Yeah. Says, okay, I get super bad vibes from my mom's boyfriend. So I am 23 years old and currently live with my mom while I save up to move out. About 2.5 years ago, my parents got a divorce after my dad admitted to having an affair for over 2 years. He is still with the woman he was cheating with, and while it is extremely awkward, I'm getting used to it. My mom started talking to a guy back in March and met him for the first time in April. She even said he is not her type, but he was funny and nice to her. The first time I met him, I got hit with a bad vibe, and it has been getting worse since then. He has done a few creepy things, such as buying me costume jewelry at Claire's, and he has some really racist beliefs and tendencies. He's a huge supporter of a certain politician and believes in tons of conspiracy theories and feeds them to my mom like they are fact. When he comes over, I get really uncomfortable and anxious. I get a gross feeling that I have not ever had before, even with my dad's girlfriend the first time I met her. The weirdest thing, though, his wife died in October 2019, less than a year ago, and he was on dating apps by March. I know people cope differently, but it feels really off to me. I know I need to approach my mom about it, but I don't know how. I don't even feel comfortable moving out while she is dating him because I'm worried something will happen to her. She swears if he proposes anytime soon, she will say no, and he is very against living together before marriage. But I don't know if he would be able to convince her otherwise. Please, any advice is welcome. I honestly don't know what to do. I am really close with my mom and don't want to ruin my relationship with her, but I would rather her be safe and mad at me than her be in danger and us getting along.
I have read this one before.
Oh, have you now?
Yes, I had. That's it's a tough situation because there's a lot of different factors involved with this. I mean, there's a lot of personal beliefs that she has that conflicts, and that's I understand the feeling thing. You get a bad feeling. You get that sometimes. You get a bad vibe from somebody, right?
Yeah.
And your opinion does matter to your mother's. Your opinion does matter to your mother. I will say that. Okay, my dad when we were younger, or when I was younger, I think I was like 17 at the time. He got engaged to a lady that I hated. I could not stand her. She had awful children. She swore all the time. Her children swore all the time, and it was annoying and obnoxious. I found her to be a grating person. However, my dad really liked her. He got engaged to her, and it was one of the most awkward and uncomfortable conversations I've ever had with my dad because he's like, hey, I asked her to marry me. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. It was out of nowhere. I didn't know this was going to happen. And then I got yelled at because I didn't say congratulations. And my dad's never talked to me that way before. So it was a very weird time. Like, I didn't know how to take that, on top of the fact that he was talking about selling my childhood home, to buy this house together with her demon son or daughter who was a whore and whatever. So, and I don't care. I don't know this lady. They didn't happen. Fell through. And afterwards, I looked at my dad and I said, thank God. And he said, oh, really? He goes, you didn't like her? And I said, no, I despised that woman. And he goes, well, why didn't you say something? And my big thing was, you were happy. You liked her. You loved her enough to think that you wanted to marry her, or whatever the case was. I don't know if it was midlife crisis. I don't know if he actually really loved her. I don't know. Either way, it didn't pan out, but he thought that was where he wanted to be. And I didn't want to step in between that happiness because at the end of the day, I was 17 years old. I knew in 1 year I'm graduating from high school. I'm moving out of the house. It's all done anyway, right? Like, yeah, I don't want my childhood home to go because I just like the house. But does it matter? I don't live there now. I mean, it's not my place to jump in on somebody else's happiness. Now, given I didn't get bad vibes, like I thought she was going to be crazy or whatever, but let's break down the things this lady does not like. The jewelry, the costume jewelry. The guy's probably just trying to connect with you.
And it's from Claire's, so I mean, it's not even that expensive or anything. He's just probably trying to make an effort.
Yeah, right. He probably just doesn't know better. I mean, to be honest, as a guy who I've never dated, I've never dated a woman who has had. Well, I have dated women who have had children, but I've never been in a serious enough relationship to meet those children. So it's never gotten to that point. I don't know what's the go-to thing there. I don't know what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. I can understand using gifts as a way, especially because he probably realizes that you don't like him. I don't think you're too subtle about it. So he's probably trying to get in the good graces somehow, one way or another. And yeah, it's just cheap costume jewelry. Hey, I saw this. It's kind of cute. I thought maybe you'd like it. I don't know. I mean, I can see where that could be a faux pas. Like, I could see how you would kind of screw that up a little bit. But I think that he's really honestly just trying to connect in that light. As far as the dating after his ex-wife that passed or whatever, people do things differently. You say it yourself. People grieve differently. Um, you don't know when somebody else is ready to move on, and chances are he might not have been ready to move on, but felt like he needed to.
Mhm.
Well,
That's
I think the point about dating apps less than a year later, that sounds more like a moot point to me. That's not really a fair thing either. It's
no.
like you said, people have different coping speeds and coping mechanisms, and for us to try to comment on that, I think is just a little off. If you feel like you're ready or if you feel like you need to, then good for you. That's a personal choice all day.
Yeah, it's totally subjective because if
Yeah.
you're ready, you're just ready.
You don't get the right to choose. You don't know how that relationship or that marriage was. Yeah, maybe she passed, but maybe it was hell for the past couple of years. Maybe she had like a terrible form of cancer or something like that, and she's been pretty much comatose and on the deathbed forever. He's kind of accepted and moved on. You just don't know.
But
I
so he
mean,
may have emotionally checked out years ago.
exactly. And just he's ready to move on with his life. Sometimes that just happens. You're ready to move on with your life. You want to accept something new. So, what are the other concerns, Gator?
Let's see here. Some really racist beliefs and tendencies. He is a huge supporter of a certain politician.
The
That,
greatest politician, the best politician.
yeah, all of his friends tell him he's the best too.
He's the best, the greatest. There's never anyone like it.
Believes in tons of conspiracy theories and feeds them to my mom like they are fact.
Listen, people are like that. I know tons of people that are conspiracy theorists. It's weird. And as far as
It's fun to listen to sometimes.
sometimes it is until you look at the person, they're just like, no, I believe in this. And you're like, oh my God. And I get that. It's a little disconcerting or whatever. It's kind of like, okay, whatever. And then as far as politics go, he can like the greatest politician in the world. He can do that. It's fine. The guy doesn't understand a lot about wind, but who does? It's doesn't matter. You can choose to like that man or not like that man. You can be part of that party or not be part of that party. That's okay. It really is. People can have that choice. That should not be a factor on what your mother should or shouldn't be dating, unless your mother is uncomfortable with it. The only thing that rings true to any of this, the only thing I can give her credence on that she needs to be worried about would be the racist comments, because clearly that's not good. That's something that's bad.
Well, and I mean, I think there is something here as well when, she does say, she goes, when he comes over, I get really uncomfortable and anxious. Now,
But
I get that, that's feelings. That's not factual for any reason. There's no logic to back that up or anything like that. What I will say is that in my life, a woman's intuition is not something to be taken lightly. That usually they are getting it for a reason and they may not know exactly why, but they find the answer and they're typically not wrong.
I disagree with you 100%.
Well,
I
we have not been burned by certain things.
Well, no, but I get that. Now I understand intuition, and you should follow up on that intuition and so on and so forth for your own safety, if that's how you feel. But there are certain situations where you sit there and go, like, I don't like this guy, he's creepy or whatever. That's you. That's what you think. There's not like you caught him peeping in the shower one day, which is where I thought this was originally going to go. Like he
Right.
sneaks out of the closet at night and tries to tuck me in and kiss me in weird ways. Like, yeah, that's weird. You're a 23-year-old woman. What are you doing living at home anyway? Nah, I'm sorry. That's bad. You can live at home for as long as you need to, but
Well, she
at the
said she
same time,
currently lives with her mom to save up to move out.
right?
So
Well, no,
she does address that.
it doesn't matter. That was an insensitive comment on my part anyway. My main point is that you're an adult. You're an adult. You have to approach this as an adult. If you're uncomfortable with it, I get that. And you can speak to you being uncomfortable with it, but like there's nothing there other than the comments. And the comments are bad, but don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say, you should go ahead and date the racist. That's not it. But as far as just being uncomfortable when somebody's around, I know people that have such anxiety, they're uncomfortable when any guy's around.
Yeah.
I've met, like, I've had an ex in the past. Anytime a new person was in the situation or like in the room or whatever, it was uncomfortable. It was an uncomfortable situation. I don't know this person. I don't know that. They make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There are a lot of, like, you throw out the women's intuition thing, and you're right in a lot of aspects, but at the same time, if you're a person that's just anxiety ridden, and judging by all of the text here, I'm not thinking she's the most like calm and collective person.
No, she doesn't seem. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not getting a mentally sound vibe from this, but I do get a very geez, oh Pete's, wow, words, observant.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's no specifics. It's literally just he's in the room. He makes me feel uncomfortable. Is that because he's giving you sideways glances? Is he like staring very strangely? Or is it just that the guy might not be like, maybe he looks kind of weird? You ever meet somebody who has like that weird face and they make you uncomfortable just because they look strange? Like, I'm not lying. I've been in the train with somebody like that, and you're like, oh, I don't know. And I've been in a room and you're just like, that guy's creepy. You know what? I'll even go even further. I have a friend, part of a friend group, right?
Mhm.
Nicest dude in the world, professional career, great guy all around, nicest guy ever. He creeped all of the girls out in our friend group. No,
Just a look
like
kind of thing.
no, like he was just friendly. That was it. He was honestly just friendly. Like he'd come up and he'd give people hugs and stuff. He's just that guy. He's the guy. He's a hugger. It is what it is. But apparently, it made everybody uncomfortable. They saw things. He wasn't hitting on anybody. He wasn't attracted to any of them. He was just being himself. There's nothing there.
Hmm.
This happens sometimes. I don't know. It sounds more to me that like mom's with somebody that she just doesn't like and is choosing to not like this guy, and that's fine. You can voice that opinion, but at the end of the day, it's your mom's choice.
Right. She's gonna either be with him or not because she likes him for something.
Hopefully, it's not a place to live.
Huh?
Yeah.
That hopefully it's not just a place to live.
Yeah, right.
That happens quite a bit.
That's true. But I mean, even the guy was the one who was like, "Hey, I don't believe in living together until whatever," right?
Right, but I mean, we all know dudes will say just about anything to make themselves sound better, especially in a beginning and new budding relationship.
I don't know if that makes you sound better though. If somebody's willing to live with you and wants to right now, and you're like, I think we should hold off on this, I don't think that makes you sound better. I think that just it is what it is. I think a guy might have the old fashioned beliefs, especially considering where his support structure goes to and stuff. But I mean, I've talked a lot about this. I want to hear your guys' viewpoints. Because I don't want to belittle what she's thinking. I think she's overthinking, and she can voice her opinion. I think that's always a good thing. But I also think that there's a point in time where you're overstepping bounds, and the mom will let you know if that happens.
Like, I like what Gator said about women's intuition because sometimes it can be right. But like you said too, there's really no credence to anything. It's not like, he's giving her sideways glances or, giving her like little wink or something. Like there's not been that boundary crossed. Like, yeah, how do you get to a woman's heart? It's either food or jewelry, right? So maybe he's trying to, kind of, make that effort with buying the jewelry. And as far as, his political views and the racist comments, that might be his personality. I mean, it might not be the best personality, but it's ultimately, I think, probably just his personality. So, no, I don't think that there's probably really anything to it. I think it's probably just her overthinking it. But there's always that slight possibility that maybe there is something else going on there. Maybe she does have reason to be concerned. But I think for the most part, it's probably just she's overthinking it and trying to maybe find an excuse not to like him. And maybe for her mom not to like him.
I think I like what you're saying because that's how I feel. But I mean, at the same time, like when you talk about the intuition, yeah, it could be right, but that's taking a shot in the dark. You meet Jeffrey Dahmer or whatever, and you're like, I have bad thoughts about this guy, but clearly there was like 8 to 10 people that didn't have bad thoughts about that guy that should
Right.
have. I mean, you go through that. Like, yeah, there are people out there where you kind of have that bad vibe about or whatever, but and it's a shot in the dark. I don't know. It might not be anything. It's a weird thing when you sit there and go, there's always been something wrong there or whatever. And like, there's just so much other things that are being focused on that I can't give credence to that intuition because it sounds just more of like, this sounds better if I say it that way. Because if you look at the title of how this was written and all the things that she says, it's trying to paint this guy off as a creeper, but he's done nothing creepy.
Right.
Other than just date the mom and exist.
And buy costume jewelry at Claire's for a 23-year-old.
I don't think that's creepy.
No, though. Like, he might not have any kids and be like, yeah, this is sparkly. She might like it.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, I buy stuff from Claire's sometimes, and I'm almost 30, so.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he's just unfamiliar with all of that stuff. I think that's fair to look at for sure. I think as much as they,
I mean, there's my girlfriend's in it. You see my girlfriend? It's Ginger. But she's like, no, this right here, this was a gift from my father to my ex-girlfriend. This was his Christmas gift to her because he had no effing idea what to get her or get a lady. So he just did this. My last ex that he met, he got her like a jewelry box or whatever.
Okay, so I retract the statements about Claire's. But I think what it boils down to is number one, we all get vibes about people. When we meet them, if we want to, kind of dive in deeper, make a better relationship with them, or whatever it may be. I mean, we're all going to have those moments and those things, and people are going to strike us different, strike us better, worse, whatever it may be. If she's having this strong of feelings, if she's having this strong of something is not sitting well, something's not all that great, the best thing she can do is number one, she recognizes that there is no foundational thing that is wrong, like nothing that he has done to make the situation bad or whatever it may be. But distancing and observing and just keeping that in the back of the mind of pay attention, don't lose track if there's signs that show up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I
I'm not saying that you got to be perfectly fine and go cuddle with the dude on the couch.
No. I think that would be very weird as a 23-year-old as well.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I think you're right. Like observe, and I think
some of these posts, no.
I think that she has the right to talk to the mom, right? Like she can voice her concerns.
Definitely.
It's a weird situation though, because like at what point in time are you interjecting in somebody's life with your own viewpoints? If your mom's happy, that's kind of like, to me, that's the main component there. Like, your mom was cheated on and left by your father, and this guy, if he comes in and he treats her really well and it's just whatever, other than him being a strange guy, like, I don't know, I'd be happy that he doesn't smoke meth, or whatever. It's kind of an interesting thing there. I
You're
don't
just
know.
happy that mom's happy.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I would feel about it, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right.
I thought,
So,
I thought I had read another one, but then I got like 3 lines into it and went, no.
I was trying to read that face there. I was like, I'm not sure that's a good face or not a good face.
Oh, it was bad.
well, welcome to the world of Reddit, where
Don't
it
spend a
takes
lot
you
of
2
time.
hours to come up with a show because half of it's just dumb and the other half gets very rapey, and not a good time. So, you guys want to do the would I be the a-hole thing?
Yeah.
Well, we got time for that, I think, and that'll about do it.
Okay. So, would I be the a-hole if I went to the police about a letter our neighbors left us? Okay. So, for background, my fiance and I are in our 20s. We moved in this house 2 months ago. We're pretty quiet people. We mainly work and I study. We have a puppy who is still being trained, but is doing remarkably well. We previously lived with people who would manage to undo everything we taught her. So they had somebody who screwed up the puppy's train, right? We've had people over twice within restrictions, once for housewarming and one D&D game. So they're nerds. Uh, though they were louder than we usually are, I could not hear the D&D game from the bathroom, which is at the end of the house. And the housewarming after about 11 p.m. was only a few people and very quiet. We don't play music. We received a letter from our neighbors, and the whole thing feels like a threat. It mentions our foul mouths, our dog getting out. She did twice the first week we moved in, but we found her quickly, and defecating everywhere, and how loud we are. It includes the phrases, probably best you sell or rent your house because you've pissed us all off. Don't think this is a joke. Probably best that you leave. Do yourselves the favor and go back to Sydney, which they're not from Sydney. We don't want you here. So Sydney, I'm guessing, is Australia, right? So probably they want them to go back to the big city as opposed to where they are, more of a rural area, I would assume. We are worried about our dog's safety and worried about leaving the house by myself. We only have a driveway, and I'm worried that this will escalate into acts to get us to leave. I'm a university student, and we have our car loans to pay off. We can't afford to get cameras at the moment, but I don't feel safe at home. So would I be the a-hole to go to the police, even though potentially it is just a letter?
Uh-huh.
I don't think they're the a-holes. I mean, you're concerned for your safety and your property and everything. I don't think the police are probably going to be doing anything because they probably have bigger things to worry about, and there's really nothing to be done at this point. But no, I think if you feel like you need to go to the police and have it at least, kind of on their radar, I don't think you're the a-holes for that.
I think that's a good point, given it's the police, at least so it's on the radar if there isn't anything that can be done about this. Gator, what are your thoughts?
Well, number one, I don't know police rules, regulations, and laws in Australia. So that's making it really hard to comment. But if it was in America, you're not an a-hole at all for going to the police, because what this will do is this starts the file. This starts the basis of it, and especially if the neighbors or whatever are gonna be complete tools, and be a bunch of jokes anyway. When the first instance comes in that truly involves the neighbors, where they call for a noise complaint or they call for a dog off the leash or whatever it may be, when the cops come out, they're adding to that file. And the plus side is the first person that started that file, the
Is
first
you.
person that brought it attention to the law enforcement was you. You immediately set a precedence of, I am a victim in this. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I'm being forthright with all the information I possibly can so that any questions that come up, I'm willing and ready to answer them. You're already seeing me being cooperative. That's a huge first step.
Well, and if they escalate it too, like say they slashed your tires or, you know, they destruct your property in any way, you already have that base of, I'm pretty sure I know who did it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Here's your
and
suspect right here.
it's a tough thing to say because I don't think it was any specific neighbors that were involved, but it is good to let the situation be aware of as far as the police are concerned, because if it escalates, because if it turns into something else. That, and I mean, to be honest, the letter, those phrases, they're not necessarily threatening as in for potential harm, but they're so open ended. I don't know. It is ominous. There is like a threatening tone to that. It'd be best if you sell the house. I mean, that does sound like it. What happens if I don't?
Right.
Yeah, one of those, if you don't sell it, you're going to wish you did.
Yeah.
You know,
And
that whole feeling.
And to be honest, like they're from the sounds of it, and because they're nerds, I mean, like the D&D thing. Yeah, no, that isn't too loud. Listen, we're doing a radio show right now. I live in the suburbs. I'm talking very, very loudly so that we can, project and go through this, right? It's later in the day, evening, whatever. We're not having neighbors come up, dude. When I have house parties with myself because that's how I like to party. I'll put on music and I'll have my dance party in the living room. I've got Bose speakers. I blast it. You can hardly hear it from outside, though. I mean, nobody has problems with that. So
Right.
if you're just having a party without playing music, everybody's inside, like someone could yell out the F word as loud as possible, and no one should really hear it.
Right.
I also want to point out that if you're having a housewarming party and you're not playing music,
That's a boring party.
that's a pretty lame friggin' party, bro. Like, if you're in Australia and you're telling me that's how you party, come here. Come here. Let me show you the way this is supposed to go. Because from what I'm hearing, we're not getting any kind of good power ballads. We're not hearing any Queen. And we're definitely not hearing Sweet Caroline while you're playing beer pong. These are problems.
Gator, these people also play D&D. Like that was their other big event that they had at their house.
That's fine. Play D&D. Be a dark elf. Be a freaking dwarf. I don't care. But can your dwarf like go 3 for 3 in beer pong? Yes. Sweet. Do you play even cornhole? Do you even play cornhole? Because it sounds like you don't.
It's a Midwestern thing. A lot of people don't play cornhole.
Then get on board. We do it best.
I've never even played cornhole. I didn't even know what cornhole was until like a year ago.
When this is over with, and maybe next year we'll play cornhole together. So we're not doing it in the wintertime. And we're winding up. We're getting towards the end of the season here.
Right. Yeah. It's going to get cold here.
There's a cornhole season?
Well,
Summer.
it's an outdoor game.
You're outside in a shirt like this, getting sunburned and drinking way too many White Claws.
That's the cornhole way. We'll do this next year. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like they're definitely not the a-holes here. That wouldn't be an a-hole move. That's just for your safety. You have to do what's best for you. I cannot express this enough in all of these situations that we talk about every single day. You always have to do what's best for you. I like some people, they feel selfish when they do this, but it's your life at the end of the day. And unless doing what's best for you involves screwing over massive amounts of people or harming others, then no, don't do that. But for the most part, you got to do what is going to ensure your safety and your happiness. And this is where you live. You should be comfortable there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You should feel safe.
Now the other thing I want to know, Gator, what D&D character would you be? What class would you be there?
I'm a rock.
You're what?
I'm a rock.
A rock?
Yeah, I like being a rock whenever we play D&D type things. Mostly because it's like I don't want to have to do anything. Usually I can be like, I get cozy in somebody's pocket. Or I take down the elf by being thrown by this. It's fun.
That's you know what? I've never heard of anyone doing that ever in my life, and it was honestly one of the most disappointing answers I've ever had.
I don't know if I'm playing right, but I tried real hard.
Well, you're probably the best rock. I was hoping you were going to go more with the Dwayne Johnson. But, okay, that's fair. Rose?
I never played it. I have no idea any of the characters, so I would just be whoever you guys were like, hey, you should be this person. Cool.
Okay, let's pick a game that you probably have played. If you've played Elder Scrolls, clearly, right? Skyrim.
I've watched it. I haven't played it though.
Well, never mind.
Rose is a wood nymph.
Yeah, that would be very fitting. Yeah, that's fair. We can go with that.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not, so I'm just gonna go with its compliment. So thanks.
It's totally a compliment.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, with that in mind, guys, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for listening and our at-home version of Open for Discussion. We're probably going to be doing it this way again at least once. With that in mind, have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week. Take it easy. Love you guys.